The A train died at 9:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, in front of 47 witnesses with their phones out. Not physically. That would come later in ways the speedster couldn't imagine as he posed for a photo with two drunk NYU students. But the man he pretended to be, the hero, the smile, the carefully crafted image, died the moment the air above Times Square tore open like burning paper. Huey Campbell noticed the cold first. His breath misted in front of his face, visible against the glow of electronic billboards. July in Manhattan. Humidity thick enough to chew, and suddenly he could see his own breathing. The temperature plummeted 15 degrees in 3 seconds. Around him, the crowd slowed, looked up. Phones lowered as people registered something deeply, fundamentally wrong. The smell hit next, sulfur and ash, cutting through hot dog carts and exhaust fumes. Like standing downwind from Hell's Barbecue. Huey's stomach twisted. He'd smelled death before. Annie had held him while he vomited after identifying what was left of Robin, but this was different. Older. Hungry. Then, the electronics started dying. Billboard screens flickered. Phone cameras glitched, static crawling across displays. Car alarms shrieked and went silent. The massive Vought advertisement, Homelander's perfect smile 40 feet tall, stuttered, pixelated, went black. For the first time in decades, Times Square experienced something close to darkness. And in that darkness, reality split open. It started as a shimmer, heat haze distortion hovering 10 feet above the pavement. Then the shimmer ignited. Not normal fire. This burned darker, deeper, like watching the sun through a photographic negative. The flames didn't rise. They fell upward, defying physics, hungry and aware. The rift expanded, edges searing the air itself, and through the gap came sounds that made Huey's hindbrain scream run. Screaming, chains rattling, the roar of an engine that had never known an assembly line. The motorcycle came through first, chrome and flame, wheels trailing hellfire, a machine that looked like it had been forged rather than built. It hit the pavement with a sound like a cathedral bell cracking, and the asphalt beneath it blackened, melted, reformed into something that looked almost like bone. The engine's roar drowned out the crowd screaming. Then came the rider. Huey saw the skull first. Flaming, not flesh burned away to expose bone, but bone that had never known flesh, wreathed in fire that burned blue-white at the core and deep crimson at the edges. Chains wrapped around the torso, dragging on the ground with a sound like grinding teeth. Leather jacket, scorched and scarred. Gloved hands gripping handlebars that glowed red-hot. The Ghost Rider had arrived. The crowd stampeded. 47 phones recorded every second, live-streaming terror to millions. Huey stood frozen, pressed against a storefront window, watching the impossible thing idle in the center of Times Square. The skull turned, surveying. Those eye sockets, empty but not, filled with judgment and flame, swept across the fleeing masses. A-Train was still posing. The speedster hadn't noticed the rift, too focused on his Instagram story. He finally registered the screaming, turned, saw the flaming skeleton. His practiced smile faltered. He shifted into a runner's stance, ready to blur away at Mach speed, be anywhere but here. That's when he made his mistake. An old woman stumbled in her panic, groceries scattering. A-Train dodged, moving just fast enough to clip her shoulder. She spun, fell hard. The crack of her hip breaking was lost in the chaos, but Ghost Rider's head snapped toward the sound with predatory precision. The chains moved before A-Train could. They shot forward, impossibly fast, wrapped around the speedster's torso and yanked him off his feet. A-Train tried to vibrate free, the trick that let him phase through walls, but the chains tightened, and he screamed. They burned, not his skin but something deeper, something Compound 5 couldn't protect. Ghost Rider dismounted, walked forward. Each footstep left a smoking print. "What the fuck, man?" A-Train struggled, panicking. "I'm a hero! I'm one of the 7! The skull tilted. When it spoke, the voice me from everywhere and nowhere, resonating in Huey's chest cavity. "Look into my eyes." "No, wait." Your soul is stained with innocent blood. A-Train's face went white. I don't know what you're... The empty eye sockets flared. Blue-white hellfire poured out, and A-Train's pupils dilated so wide his eyes looked black. His mouth opened in a soundless scream. His body went rigid, every muscle locked. Tears streamed down his face. Blood vessels burst in his eyes, red spiderwebbing across white. He was seeing something, experiencing something. Every person he'd killed, Huey realized, watching in horrified fascination. Every civilian he'd run through while racing to a photo op. Every acceptable loss he'd left dying in his wake while he posed for cameras. The girlfriend A-Train had murdered. Robin, her name was Robin. She was in there somewhere, and the speedster was feeling every microsecond of her death. The penance stare lasted 11 seconds. When Ghost Rider released the chains, A-Train collapsed like a puppet with cut strings, eyes open, smoking slightly at the edges, breathing, heart beating. But nobody home behind those eyes, just a vast echoing space where a conscience had finally been installed, fully loaded with decades of guilt delivered all at once. The crowd had gone silent, 47 phones still recording. Ghost Rider looked down at the whimpering wreck of the world's second fastest man. The skull's flames dimmed slightly, almost sad. Justice, the demonic voice said, has been served. 3 blocks away, in Vought Tower, Homelander's head snapped toward the window. Through triple-paned glass and night-darkened sky, his enhanced vision picked out the details. The burning skull, the fallen A-Train, the crowd's terrified faces. He smiled. The helicopters arrived 90 seconds later. Vought security, not NYPD, never NYPD when soups were involved, descended in a storm of rotor wash and spotlight glare. 3 birds, tactical teams rappelling down ropes before the skids even touched pavement. Boots hit ground in formation, rifles raised. The lead officer's voice crackled through a megaphone, professional and cold. Unidentified superhuman, stand down. Put your hands on your head and get on the ground. Ghost Rider turned toward them. The skull's flames brightened. The old woman was still on the ground, clutching her broken hip. Huey had moved toward her, but frozen when the chains had moved. Now he watched the security team fan out, their weapons trained on the burning skeleton, and his mind screamed the obvious. They were going to shoot. Civilians everywhere, panicked and scrambling, and Vought was going to open fire in Times Square. Ghost Rider stepped between the guns and the crowd. The chains unwrapped from his torso, hit the pavement, and exploded outward. They moved like living things, serpentine and fast, creating a perimeter of rattling metal between the civilians and the tactical team. Where the chains touched ground, hellfire erupted, but it didn't spread. It formed a wall 10 feet high, burning without fuel or smoke. Huey flinched back from the flames, felt no heat. The fire licked inches from his face, and his skin didn't even warm. He looked through the translucent flame barrier and saw other civilians realizing the same thing. The hellfire wasn't burning them. Secondary team, flank left. The tactical commander's voice cracked slightly. Authorization to engage. They fired. Rubber bullets first, Vaught's PR-approved crowd control ammunition. The rounds hit Ghost Rider's chest and melted liquefied rubber dripping down leather like candle wax. Tear gas canisters arced through the air. The skull tracked them with predatory calm. Before, the canisters hit ground. Chains whipped out and batted them back toward the security team. Gas exploded in their faces. Men stumbled, choking, training dissolving into chaos. Lethal rounds authorized. Fire, fire, fire! The sound of assault rifles in Times Square would echo in Huey's nightmares for months. Muzzle flashes strobed the darkness. Bullets screamed through air. Every round that hit Ghost Rider vaporized on impact, reduced to molten slag and vapor. The skeleton didn't even flinch, just stood there protecting the panicked civilians behind his hellfire wall, absorbing a firing squad like rain. A new light cut through the chaos, gold and bright and clean. Starlight descended from the sky, her hands already glowing. She landed between Ghost Rider and the security team, arms spread, pure energy crackling around her fists. Her voice carried over the gunfire. "Cease fire! Cease fire!" The shooting stopped. Tactical team members lowered weapons, confused, looking to their commander. The commander looked at Starlight, actual member of the Seven, Vought's golden girl, and hesitated. "Ma'am, that thing just attacked A-Train. A-Train's alive. The civilians are alive." Starlight's glow intensified. "You're firing into a crowd. Stand down." The commander's jaw worked. Orders from Vought Tower versus orders from Asupe. He lowered his rifle. His team followed suit. Starlight turned to face Ghost Rider. Up close, Huey could see her trying not to show fear. Her hands stayed lit, ready, but her voice came out steady. "Professional. I don't want to fight you." The skull regarded her. Those empty eye sockets swept up and down, seeing something beyond flesh. After a long moment, the demonic voice responded, quieter than before, but still resonating. "You haven't sinned." Starlight blinked. "What?" "Step aside. I have no quarrel with the innocent." Behind the hellfire wall, Huey helped the old woman sit up. She was crying, whimpering about her hip, but alive. He looked at Ghost Rider, at the literal demon with the flaming skull, and felt a surreal disconnect. The thing had protected them. Specifically, deliberately protected the civilians while defending itself. "Who are you?" Starlight asked. Her glow dimmed slightly. "Are you a soup? Did Vought do this to you?" "I am vengeance for the innocent." The skull tilted toward A-Train's catatonic form. "That one has murdered. Many times. He faced his victims." "What did you do to him?" "Showed him truth. His soul judged itself." Movement at the perimeter. The Deep, discount Aquaman in green scales, swaggered through the security cordon, cameras already tracking him. His practiced smile gleamed. Hair perfect. Every inch the hero arriving to save the day. He saw the phones recording and amped up his presence. "Don't worry, folks. The Deep's here. Everything's under control." He strode toward Ghost Rider, chest puffed, got within 10 feet, looked up at the burning skull. The smile faltered. Ghost Rider's head turned, focused on him. The Deep froze mid-stride, one hand raised in what was supposed to be a reassuring wave. The wave died. His face went pale under his tan. Sweat beaded on his forehead. "You've hurt innocents." The demonic voice dropped to something worse than a growl. A promise. "Many innocents." The Deep backed up. 1 step. 2. His carefully crafted hero persona crumbling in real time, broadcast live to millions. "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a hero. I save people. Your victims cry out." Ghost Rider took a step forward. The Deep scrambled backward, tripped over his own feet. "I hear them. Starlight!" The Deep's voice cracked. "Starlight, do something!" She looked between them, at the Deep's genuine terror, at Ghost Rider's implacable advance, at A-Train's broken mind smoking on the pavement. Her expression shifted, something Huey recognized. The look of someone putting pieces together and hating the picture. "What did you do?" she asked the Deep quietly. "Nothing. I didn't. It was just... she wanted it." He was babbling now, backing toward the security team. Ghost Rider stopped advancing. The skull's flames dimmed. "Not here. Not now. Too many innocents nearby." The empty eyes fixed on the Deep. "But I will find you, and you will face what you've done." The Deep ran. Ran, stumbling over debris, shoving past security personnel, his hero image shattered across 47 live streams. Starlight stared at Ghost Rider. "How did you know?" "I can smell the innocent blood on all of you." Sirens in the distance, more Vought teams mobilizing, the tactical commander speaking urgently into his radio. Huey watched paramedics finally reaching the old woman, saw them carefully splinting her hip, and felt something shift in his understanding of the world. A demon had just protected civilians better than any hero he'd ever seen. In Vought's security center, Madeline Stillwell watched the footage replay. Ghost Rider's entrance, the pennant stare, A-Train's collapse, the Deep's humiliation. every second captured and spreading across social media faster than containment protocols could activate. She picked up her phone, speed-dialed. "Get me Homelander, and prep the media team. We need to control this narrative before sunrise." They didn't arrest Ghost Rider so much as negotiate a temporary ceasefire. Starlight brokered it, standing between the Flaming Skull and 3 more tactical teams that had surrounded the perimeter. "Come with us. Talk. If you're really here for justice, then let's figure this out." Her voice carried weight, genuine conviction instead of corporate script. Ghost Rider had stared at her for a long moment, then nodded once. The Hellfire wall had collapsed. The chains had retracted, and he'd followed her into the armored transport, leaving A-Train's catatonic body for the paramedics and 47 phones still recording. Now he sat in a reinforced chair in Vought Tower's sub-level 3 in a room designed to hold supes who'd gone off script. The space was clinical, white walls, observation glass on one side, definitely two-way, cameras in every corner. The chair was bolted to the floor, surrounded by what looked like jury-rigged power dampeners. Some tech analyst had clearly panicked and assembled whatever anti-soup equipment they had on hand. Ghost Rider could feel the electromagnetic fields humming, trying to suppress abilities. They did nothing. His power didn't come from Compound 5 or science. It came from somewhere much older and angrier. The door opened. Madeline Stillwell entered first, tailored suit, perfect makeup, smile that didn't reach her eyes. She carried a tablet and projected complete control. Behind her came the reason for the reinforced room. Homelander. The soup filled the doorway, cape settling around his shoulders like a predator's wings, arms crossed, jaw tight. That famous smile plastered on his face, but his eyes were flat and cold. He positioned himself in the corner, a statue of barely controlled violence, and said nothing, just watched. Stillwell sat across from Ghost Rider, set her tablet down precisely, and laced her fingers together. "Mr. Blaze." The voice came out human now. Johnny's voice, rough with decades of smoke and screaming. The flames around his skull had dimmed to a faint flicker. "Johnny Blaze." "Mr. Blaze, I'm Madeline Stillwell, Senior Vice President of Hero Management at Vought International." Her smile was professional warmth incarnate. "I appreciate you agreeing to speak with us. Didn't have much choice. Your people had rifles pointed at civilians. A regrettable miscommunication. Our security teams responded to what appeared to be an attack on one of our heroes." She glanced at her tablet. "Speaking of which, A-Train is in intensive care, catatonic. What exactly did you do to him?" "Showed him his victims, every person he's killed." Stillwell's expression didn't flicker. "I see. And you have this ability because I sold my soul to save someone I loved." The demon lied. She died anyway. But the deal stuck. Johnny leaned back, chains rattling against the chair. "Now I'm the spirit of vengeance. I punish the guilty, make them face their sins." From the corner, Homelander's voice cut through the room like a laser through paper. "So you're the thing that broke A-Train's brain." Johnny's skull turned toward him. Even dimmed, the flames in his eye sockets flared. "You've killed hundreds." The smile on Homelander's face tightened a fraction. "Excuse me?" "Raped. Murdered. Covered it up." Johnny's voice dropped to something deeper, the demon bleeding through. "I can smell it on you. Innocent blood. So much of it." The room went very quiet. In the observation room beyond the glass, a technician's coffee cup paused halfway to his mouth. Huey, who'd snuck in with Starlight despite Vought security trying to remove him, held his breath. Homelander's laser eyes began to glow. Red light painted the walls. Stillwell stood smoothly, placing herself between them. "Homelander, please. Mr. Blaze, let's focus on the situation at hand." She touched her tablet, pulling up footage. "How did you arrive in our city? The footage shows you emerging from some kind of portal. Dimensional rift. I was hunting a demon in my world. It opened a gateway. I came through. Johnny studied the ceiling, calculating. Then, it closed behind me. Can't get back. Your world? Stillwell's professional mask slipped slightly. You're saying you're from another dimension? Yeah. Different Earth. Similar enough, but no Vought, no soups. Different kinds of monsters. She processed this, recalibrating her approach. I see. And in your world, you have these abilities? This transformation? I'm the Ghost Rider. When innocents are threatened, when the guilty need punishment, the spirit takes over. He looked at his hands, currently human, scarred. Been doing this a long time. Stillwell pulled out a tablet document, slid it across the table. Mr. Blaze, we'd like to run some tests, blood work, genetic analysis. If your abilities aren't compound V-based, they could represent a significant breakthrough. I don't have blood, not anymore. I'm sorry? I'm dead, mostly. The part that's still Johnny is barely hanging on. The rest is hellfire and vengeance. He pushed the tablet back. Your science won't find anything useful. Homelander stepped away from the wall, moving closer. His cape swished. So what? You're some kind of demon? Here to punish the wicked? The sarcasm dripped. That's adorable. Johnny met his eyes. You're terrified of me. I could end you in a second. You're welcome to try. The laser eyes flared brighter. Stillwell raised a hand sharply. Gentlemen, please. She turned back to Johnny, smile firmly back in place. Mr. Blaze, you seem committed to helping people, protecting innocents. That's commendable. In fact, it's exactly what we do at Vought. We create heroes, manage them, deploy them where they're needed most. Johnny saw where this was going. You want to control me. We want to work with you. The 7 currently has an opening, A-Train's position. We could offer you a contract, salary in the 7 figures, full benefits, media training, image consulting, merchandising opportunities. No. Stillwell paused. Mr. Blaze, perhaps you don't understand the scope of what we're offering. I understand perfectly. You want to aim me at your enemies, put me on a leash, make me smile for cameras while the guilty walk free if they're profitable enough. Johnny stood, chains scraping. The dampeners sparked and died. I'm not a hero. I'm a weapon against evil, and I don't work for corporations. Homelander moved between Johnny and the door. You think you can just walk out of here? I think you can't stop me. The temperate, you're in the room dropped. Frost formed on the observation glass. Stillwell's breath misted. In the observation room, Starlight grabbed Huey's arm. They're going to kill him. Maybe that's not a bad thing? Huey's voice shook. He'd seen what Ghost Rider did to A-Train. He only heard A-Train. A-Train's killed dozens. Starlight's grip tightened. Homelander's killed more. Stillwell's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, read the message, and her expression hardened. She looked up at Homelander, then at the observation glass, a signal. Mr. Blaze, I'm afraid we can't let you leave until we've established proper protocols. For public safety, you understand. Johnny's skull ignited fully. Flames roared up, blue-white at the core. I've killed demons and monsters. Don't make me add corporate executives to that list. Stillwell's phone buzzed again. Another message. This one made her close her eyes briefly. The boys are moving. Butcher knows about the skull thing. She looked at Homelander. We may need to accelerate containment protocols. The standoff lasted 3 hours before Vought blinked first. Not because they wanted to. In the observation room, Stillwell had cycled through every contingency protocol they had. Sedatives wouldn't work, no bloodstream to deliver them. Gas had failed. The dampeners were smoking wrecks. Every simulation ended the same way. Ghost Rider walked out, and anyone who tried to stop him became a cautionary tale. So they negotiated. Temporary agreement, Stillwell said, her tablet now showing a hastily drafted contract. You don't attack any Vought personnel or assets. We don't attempt to detain you. You stay in New York where we can coordinate if threats arise. Think of it as a probationary period. Johnny's flames had dimmed back to that low flicker. I go where innocents need me. You don't track me, you don't control me, and if your heroes hurt people, they face me. Non-negotiable. Homelander's jaw clenched so hard a muscle twitched, but Stillwell nodded. Acceptable. For now. They'd released him 90 minutes later, just before midnight. Vought security had planted 3 tracking devices, one in his jacket, one in his boot, one in the motorcycle's frame. Ghost Rider had burned them all off before he hit the street, leaving molten slag smoking on the tower's steps. Now he rode through New York's midnight streets, and the city revealed itself in ways it never showed the 7. The Hellcycle's engine rumbled, drawing stares from late-night pedestrians. Johnny kept his skull covered, a baseball cap pulled low, flames suppressed enough to pass for human in the darkness. But he felt everything. Every crime. Every sin. They pulled at him like fishhook, S in his chest, yanking him toward suffering. First stop, an alley off 47th. 3 men beating a homeless veteran for his bottle. Johnny killed the engine, walked into the alley on foot. The men turned, saw his silhouette, laughed. Fuck off, this ain't your business. Johnny lifted his cap, let them see his skull. The penance stare took less than 5 seconds. All 3 collapsed, crying, clawing at their own eyes. The homeless man stared up at Ghost Rider, terrified and confused. Johnny crouched down, pulled 3 20s from a dead man's wallet, pressed them into the veteran's shaking hands. Get somewhere warm. You've suffered enough. The old man ran. Johnny let the flames die down and rode on. Second stop, warehouse in Chelsea. Drug dealers cutting product with fentanyl, selling to kids outside a high school. Johnny chained the door shut from the inside, looked each dealer in the eyes, showed them every teenager who'd overdosed on their poison, left them screaming, called in an anonymous tip to the actual police, not Vought, and was gone before the sirens arrived. Third stop, Brownstone in Brooklyn. Sounds of a woman screaming, a child crying. Johnny went through the window instead of the door, found the husband drunk, wife bleeding from a split lip, little girl hiding under the bed. The husband took a swing at him. Ghost Rider caught the fist, let his grip heat up just enough. You have 5 seconds to leave this house. If you ever come back, I'll find you. The man pissed himself and ran. Johnny knelt beside the bed, spoke gently to the crying girl. He won't hurt you anymore. I promise. To the mother, there's shelters, resources. You don't have to stay afraid. He left an address on the counter, a women's shelter Starlight had mentioned during one of her carefully scripted PR interviews. 47 phones had recorded him in Times Square. Now dozens more toured these moments. The flaming skull protecting the vulnerable, punishing the guilty with surgical precision. No collateral damage, no excessive force. Just justice, measured and absolute. The footage spread. Ghost Rider trending worldwide. Vaught's PR team worked overtime, planting stories about dangerous vigilante and uncontrolled soup, but the videos told a different story. Here was someone who saved the woman being mugged before she could scream, who stopped the drunk driver before he hit the school bus, who looked at corporate cops shaking down immigrants and made them face their own corruption. By 3 a.m., when Johnny finally stopped on a rooftop in Hell's Kitchen, he'd intervened in 11 crimes and not killed a single person. Just showed them what they'd done. Let guilt be the punishment. Starlight found him there, perched on the edge with the city sprawling below. She landed softly, her glow dimmed to barely visible. You're all over social media. Notice the drones. Johnny didn't turn. Vaught's. Couple others too. Feel like I'm being courted by 3 different stalkers. The boys are watching you. She sat beside him, careful to leave space. They kill soups. The bad ones. They might think you're an asset. And what do you think I am? Starlight was quiet for a moment. I think you're what I wanted to be when I came to this city. Someone who actually helps people instead of just posing for cameras. Bitterness crept into her voice. Vought wanted me to condemn you on TV tomorrow. Script's already written. He's dangerous. I was terrified. Citizens should stay away. Are you terrified? No. You looked at me and said I hadn't sinned. That's the nicest thing anyone at Vaught's said to me in months. She laughed, humorless. That should tell you something about this place. Johnny finally turned to look at her. The skull was mostly hidden, just embers in the shadows. Why do you stay? Because someone has to try to do good inside the system. The system is the problem. I know. Starlight's glow flickered brighter, briefly, like a sigh made of light. But if everyone who gives a damn leaves, then people like Homelander win completely. At least this way I can... She stopped, started over. He's going to come for you, Homelander. His ego can't handle what you did, what you showed him. Let him come. He's strong, really strong, and fast, and completely insane. Johnny's flames brightened slightly. I've fought demons that make him look like an angry child. He's not special, just guilty. Below them, the city continued. Sirens wailing, lights burning, millions of people sleeping and waking and living and dying, most of them unaware that something new had entered their world. Something that didn't play by Vaught's rules or answer to their lawyers. In a grimy apartment in Brooklyn, Billy Butcher watched his laptop screen cycle through Ghost Rider footage. The Penance stare on A-Train. The Hellfire wall protecting civilians. The selective justice in the alleys and streets. He'd seen a lot of supes in his time hunting them. Seen their powers, their arrogance, their violence. This was different. He crushed his cigarette in an overflowing ashtray. Oi, Huey. Huey looked up from his own laptop, still processing everything he'd witnessed. Yeah? Time to have a chat with the flaming skull cunt. See if he bleeds. The charity gala was supposed to be easy PR. Vought Tower's grand ballroom, 500 guests in formal wear, cameras everywhere. The 7 making appearances, shaking hands, posing with donors who'd paid $50,000 a plate to eat rubber chicken and feel important. Homelander worked the room with his practiced smile, cape swishing perfectly for every photo. Starlight stood near the bar, hating every second but playing her part. Then the east wall exploded inward. Shockwave was a B-list villain. Vought created, Vought controlled, brought out every few months when the 7 needed an easy win for the cameras. He was supposed to blast through, make threats, let Homelander punch him once and go down. Script written, choreography rehearsed. Except Shockwave wasn't following the script. He came through the wall screaming, eyes wild, energy blasts firing randomly. Tables exploded into splinters. Civilians screamed, stampeding toward the exits. A support column cracked, groaned, and the ceiling above it sagged dangerously. Shockwave spun, disoriented, and fired again. The blast caught 3 waiters, threw them against the wall hard enough to leave blood smears. What the fuck is he doing? Madeline Stillwell hissed into her radio. That's not the plan. Shut him down! In Vaught's control room, a technician stared at his monitor. The kill switch isn't responding. He's not on the network. It's like he's actually dangerous, Homelander finished, landing in the ballroom's center. He assessed the situation. Cameras rolling, civilians panicking, Shockwave firing wildly. Easy enough. He raised his hands, projecting calm authority. Everyone stay calm. The 7 has this under control. Shockwave fired at him. Homelander dodged, fast enough that the blast sailed past and hit a fleeing group of donors. 2 bodies hit the floor, not moving. Homelander's smile tightened. Okay, enough. His eyes glowed red. Homelander, it... Starlight saw the angle, saw the civilians directly behind Shockwave. Don't! The laser beams fired. Shockwave threw up an energy shield, deflected them. The lasers carved through the bar, the wall beyond, and the support structure of the floor above. Concrete groaned, rebar snapped. A section of ceiling collapsed, tons of rubble falling toward the screaming crowd below. Ghost Rider's chains caught it mid-fall. He'd arrived through the same hole Shockwave had made, Hell Cycle engine roaring over the screams. The chain shot upward, wrapped around falling concrete, yanked it sideways. The debris crashed into an empty section of floor instead of crushing 40 people. Johnny transformed mid-dismount, skull igniting, leather jacket smoking as he strode into the chaos. The ballroom went silent. 500 guests, dozens of cameras, all focused on the flaming skeleton walking through Vaught's charity gala. "What are you doing here?" Homelander's voice cracked like a whip. "This is 7 business." Ghost Rider ignored him, focused on Shockwave, who was powering up another blast. The villain's eyes locked onto the skull, and fear cut through whatever had made him go off script. "You're just another soup!" Shockwave fired point blank. The energy blast hit Ghost Rider's chest and dissipated like smoke. Johnny walked through it, chains extending. "Look into my eyes!" Shockwave tried to run. The chains wrapped his ankles, yanked him off his feet. Ghost Rider dragged him close, skull to face, and the penance stare ignited. Shockwave's screams echoed off marble walls as he experienced every person he'd ever hurt, every civilian caught in his controlled attacks, every scripted battle that had gone wrong and been covered up. He collapsed in 11 seconds, catatonic, like A-Train. Homelander's fists clenched. He stepped between Ghost Rider and the cameras, reclaiming the spotlight. "I had this under control." "You were going to let them die." Johnny's voice resonated through the ballroom. Every microphone picked it up. The crowd heard it, murmured. Phones came out, filming. Homelander's smile strained. "Stand down. This is 7 business. You're interfering with authorized hero operations." "You're not a hero." The murmuring stopped. You could hear breathing. Homelander's laser eyes flared. "What did you say?" A crack split the air. The damaged ceiling section gave way completely, 50 tons of concrete and steel falling toward a cluster of trapped guests, children among them, some board members' kids, dressed in formal wear, frozen in terror. Ghost Rider moved. Chains shot out in 6 directions, creating a web of reinforced metal. The debris hit the chain net and held, suspended 10 feet above the screaming children. Johnny's skull blazed brighter, flames pouring off him as he took the full weight. His boots cracked the marble floor. Chains groaned, but they held. Homelander could have helped, could have used his strength to lift the debris away. Instead, he watched, jaw tight, as Ghost Rider slowly walked backward, dragging the chain net and its crushing weight away from the civilians. Starlight didn't wait. She dove in, grabbed the nearest child, a girl maybe 7, party dress torn, and flew her to safety. Came back for another, and another, working with Ghost Rider, clearing the danger zone while he held literal tons of building above them. The cameras captured every second. The last child cleared, Ghost Rider released the chains. The debris crashed down, shaking the floor. He turned, saw the little girl he'd saved standing with her mother. The girl broke free, ran to him, hugged his leg. The flames around his skull dimmed, gentle, not burnin', to her. He knelt down, careful, massive and terrifying and tender, all at once. "You're safe now." The image, flaming skull, kneeling before a child, her tiny arms around his neck, would be on every front page by morning. Homelander's eye twitched. "I could have saved them." Ghost Rider stood, turned to face him. "Then why didn't you?" "I was assessing. You were posing for cameras while children died." Johnny stepped closer. The crowd parted. "You're a murderer in a cape, nothing more." Homelander's control snapped. He blurred forward, fist pulled back, and punched Ghost Rider full force. The impact sounded like a car crash. The shockwave shattered windows. Ghost Rider's head snapped back, skull cracking. Then he looked forward again. The crack sealed itself, hellfire knitting bone. He hadn't moved an inch. "My turn." The chains wrapped Homelander before he could react. Yanked him off his feet, slammed him into the floor hard enough to crater marble. Homelander fired his lasers point blank. They hit Ghost Rider's chest and stopped, absorbed into hellfire that burned brighter. The skeleton didn't even flinch. "You cannot kill what's already damned." He lifted Homelander by the throat, held him suspended. The most powerful soup in the world, kicking and struggling, helpless in a demon's grip. Every camera in the room recording. every guest watching. 500 witnesses to Homelander's humiliation. Then Ghost Rider saw the building, the structural damage, the civilians still inside, still panicking. He released Homelander, let him drop. "This isn't over," Homelander gasped. "It never is." Ghost Rider turned away, dismissing him, focused on the crumbling support column. His chains wrapped it, reinforced it, bought time for evacuation, gentle with the innocent, merciless to the guilty. The crowd was already moving, streaming toward exits. Starlight coordinated, her light guiding them to safety. The Deep had disappeared entirely, probably hiding in a bathroom. Maeve stood near the bar, watching Ghost Rider work, something unreadable on her face. In a van 3 blocks away, Butcher lowered his binoculars. The monitors showed every angle. Ghost Rider tanking Homelander's punch, the child hugging him, Homelander helpless in the chains. "He just no-sold Homelander," MM breathed. Frenchie grinned. "Magnifique." Huey stared at the screen showing the little girl. "He saved her. Homelander didn't even try." Butcher smiled, sharp and hungry. "And that, lads, is our new best mate, whether he knows it or not." In Vought Tower, Stillwell watched the same footage. Her hands shook as she poured vodka into a crystal glass. Homelander's image, destroyed. The Seven's reputation, collapsing. Stock prices, already falling. She drained the glass, picked up her phone. "Dr. Vogelbaum, accelerate the contingency. I don't care what it costs. I want that thing dead, and I want proof." By morning, Vaught's counteroffensive was in full swing. Every major network ran the same story, variations on a theme. Unregistered superhuman attacks. Homelander at charity event. Footage carefully edited to show Ghost Rider's chains wrapping Homelander, cutting away before showing the context. Talking heads debating whether vigilante justice should be tolerated. Legal experts discussing unlicensed superhuman activity and federal jurisdiction. The religious angle hit hardest. Ezekiel, Vaught's Christian soupe, all clean-cut smile and empty eyes, appeared on 3 morning shows before 9 a.m. "I sensed demonic energy," he told a nodding host. "This creature, this Ghost Rider, carries the literal stench of hell. Our children shouldn't be exposed to satanic imagery masquerading as heroism." The footage of the little girl hugging Ghost Rider played on loop, but now with ominous music and concerned commentary. Experts worry about psychological trauma. Religious leaders condemn demonic imagery targeting children. Is Ghost Rider a hero or a threat? Half the country bought it. The other half had seen the unedited footage, watched Ghost Rider save people while Homelander posed. The internet split down the middle, trending hashtags battling #arrest Ghost Rider versus #thank you Ghost Rider. Vaught's legal team moved faster. By noon, federal warrants had been issued. Unlicensed superhuman activity, assault on sanctioned hero, reckless endangerment. The charges were bullshit, self-defense, civilian rescue, property damage caused by shockwave, but they didn't need to stick, just needed to make Ghost Rider a fugitive. Johnny felt it all from a grimy bar in Brooklyn, nursing whiskey that did nothing to him. The TV above the bar played CNN's coverage on mute. His face, human face, Johnny Blaze identified through anonymous sources, filled the screen. His past, what little of it Vought could dig up, splashed across chyrons. Troubled history, dimensional refugee with unknown powers, refuses government oversight. The bartender eyed him nervously. Johnny left cash on the bar and walked out before someone called it in. The door to the alley opened behind him 30 seconds later. "Oi, you're a hard man to find when you don't want finding." Johnny turned. The man approaching was 40s, maybe, with a face that had seen violence and enjoyed it. British accent, leather jacket over a Hawaiian shirt, eyes that measured Johnny for a coffin. Behind him, a nervous kid, Huey, Johnny remembered from the tower, and 2 others. A black man built like a linebacker, suspicious and alert. A Frenchman with manic energy and what looked like a homemade bomb in his jacket pocket. "Billy Butcher," the leader extended a hand. "Heard you're not fond of Homelander." Johnny didn't shake. "He's murdered innocents. I feel them. Their screams. Right. Well, Butcher lowered his hand, unbothered. We kill soups, the bad ones. Thought you might be interested in a partnership. I don't need help punishing the wicked. No, but you need intel on who the wicked are. Butcher pulled out a tablet, tapped the screen. Images appeared. Soups, crime scenes, redacted documents. See, Vaught's got a whole stable of murdering cunts in capes. They cover it up, bury the evidence, pay off witnesses. You've met 2, Homelander and the Deep. There's dozens more. Johnny took the tab. Scrolled. Each file made his jaw tighter. A-Train's hit and runs, 43 casualties. The Deep's assaults, 11 women, pattern of predation going back years. Homelander's kills. The number made Johnny's human hands shake. Flight 37, Huey said quietly. Homelander led a plane crash, over 100 people, because he couldn't save them all, and saving some would have looked bad for his image. Johnny's eyes ignited, just for a second, flames leaking through human flesh. Your heroes are monsters. Yeah, well, they ain't our heroes. Butcher's smile was sharp. That's why we hunt them. Problem is, Vaught's got lawyers, politicians, federal protection. We can kill them, but we can't touch them legally. He gestured at the tablet. You, though, you make them face what they've done. A-Train's still catatonic. That's better than death. That's justice. The big man, MM, Butcher called him, stepped forward. You're also dangerous as hell, unstable. How do we know you won't decide we're guilty? Turn that stare on us? Johnny looked at him, into him, saw a good man, tired and scared, trying to protect his family while fighting impossible odds. You've never killed an innocent. You're clean. MM blinked, relaxed fractionally. Huey here lost his girlfriend to A-Train, Butcher continued. Just ran through her on the street, didn't even stop. Kept running to make a fucking photo shoot. He lit a cigarette, offered one to Johnny. You showed that cunt his victims. Gave Huey something we never could. Closure. Huey nodded. I watched her die. Held her. What was left? A-Train never even got questioned. Vought paid me off, made me sign an NDA. His voice cracked. You're the only one who made him face it. Johnny handed the tablet back. I'll help you. But I judge who deserves punishment. No one else. Fair enough. Your show, your rules. Butcher pulled out a folder, physical this time, thick with documents. Everything we've got. Soup crimes, evidence, witness statements. Stuff that'd never hold up in court but is true as gospel. You decide what to do with it. Johnny took the folder, felt its weight. How many victims represented in this stack of paper? How many souls crying for justice that would never come through legal channels? His hands ignited briefly. The folder didn't burn. Hellfire could be selective. One more thing, Butcher said. Vaught's cooking up something. Our inside source says they're developing a countermeasure. Something to take you down. They've tried. Yeah, but now they're scared. And scared corporations with unlimited budgets do desperate shit. Butcher's expression went serious. Watch your back. They'll come at you when you're vulnerable, when you're protecting someone. A phone buzzed. Frenchie checked his. Merde. Starlight just went off script. Live television. They crowded around Frenchie's phone. The screen showed Starlight on a talk show, the host mid-question about Ghost Rider. The prepared answer was on the teleprompter behind the camera. Deeply concerned. Potentially dangerous. Urge citizens to keep distance. Starlight looked at the teleprompter, looked at the camera, smiled tightly. Ghost Rider saved those children while Homelander watched. I was there. I saw it. She leaned forward. And I'm tired of lying about what our heroes really do. The host's face went pale. In Vought Tower, Stillwell's coffee cup shattered against the wall. Butcher laughed, sharp and delighted. That's our girl. She's fucked now, career-wise, but I love the commitment. Johnny's phone, a burner the boys had given him, buzzed. Text from unknown number, rooftop. Your usual spot. Need to talk. Maeve, he showed Butcher. Queen Maeve? Fuck me. You're popular. Butcher ground out his cigarette. Could be a trap. Could be intel. Johnny pocketed the phone. Either way, I'm going. Want backup? I'll be fine. MM snorted. Man's bulletproof and shoots hellfire. Think he can handle a conversation? Johnny started toward his motorcycle, stopped, turned back. Why are you doing this? Really? Butcher's smile died. His eyes went somewhere else for a moment. Because Homelander killed my wife, and every day he flies around playing hero makes me want to burn this whole fucking city down. He met Johnny's gaze. But you can actually hurt him, make him feel something. So, yeah, I got an agenda. Don't pretend otherwise. Honesty. Refreshing. Johnny straddled the hell cycle. I'll read your files. The guilty will face justice. That's all we ask. The motorcycle roared to life, flame trailing from the exhaust. Johnny looked at Huey. Your girlfriend, Robin. She didn't suffer long. The speed, it was instant. Huey's eyes filled. How do you know? Because I feel how people die. It's part of the curse. Johnny's skull flickered beneath his skin. She's at peace. A-Train isn't. He rode off, leaving the boys in the alley. Butcher watched him go, smile returning. Start running point on Vought surveillance. Frenchie, I want to know what this contingency is. Huey, monitor Starlight's situation. Make sure Vought doesn't disappear her. Huey was already pulling out his laptop. Good lad. Butcher lit another cigarette. We just recruited a demon. Fuck me, but I love this job sometimes. Maeve was already drunk when Johnny arrived on the rooftop. She sat on the ledge, bottle of whiskey dangling from one hand, looking at the city like it had personally betrayed her. Her Queen Maeve costume, armor and cape, symbol of power, looked like a prison. She didn't turn when the Hell Cycle's engine cut off. I've tried to stop him, she said. No preamble, no introduction. Homelander. I've tried for years. Johnny approached slowly, boots crunching gravel. Why not do it yourself? Because I'm a coward. She took a long drink, finally looked at him, eyes red. You know what he did? To get into the Seven? Her laugh was broken glass. He killed the last person who had my spot. Made it look like an accident. I knew. I've always known. And I said nothing because I was terrified. You're telling me this why? Because you're not terrified. You looked at him and called him a murderer to his face. On camera. Maeve stood, swaying slightly. And because he's planning something. Vogelbaum, the scientist who made him, has been in the lab for 3 days straight. They're building something to kill you. Johnny felt the chains shift under his jacket. Let them try. They're not coming at you directly. Maeve pulled out her phone, showed him files she'd photographed. They're going after the people around you, the boys. That riotous asshole and his crew. Vought's tracked them to a safe house in Queens. Ice formed in Johnny's chest. The human part, the part that was still Johnny Blaze, remembered what it felt like to lose someone you were trying to protect. When? Tonight. Maybe sooner. They want you emotional, vulnerable. She met his eyes. Homelander wants you to watch someone die because of you. Break you before they kill you. Johnny was moving before she finished talking, threw his leg over the motorcycle. Wait, Maeve called out. It's a trap. They want you to... The engine roared, drowning her out. Johnny didn't care. Trap or not, he wasn't letting innocents die. Not again. Not ever again. The safe house was a converted warehouse in Queens, industrial and anonymous. The boys had been using it for 2 days, long enough to feel secure. Huey sat at a laptop monitoring Starlight's situation. Vought had her in emergency PR consultations that looked suspiciously like imprisonment. Was cleaning weapons. Frenchie tinkered with explosives. Butcher smoked and planned. None of them noticed the drones repositioning 3 blocks away. The explosion came at 9:23 p.m. Not the front door, not the windows. The basement support charges precisely placed by someone who knew exactly where to maximize structural damage. The blast wave threw Huey out of his chair, laptop shattering against the wall. The floor buckled. Rebar screamed as it twisted. Half the building collapsed inward like a crushed beer can. Huey fell through the disintegrating floor into the basement, landed hard, something in his shoulder cracking. Dust and smoke choked the air. Above him, flames spread impossibly fast, accelerant in the charges, professional work. He tried to stand, collapsed. His leg was pinned under a fallen beam. "Butcher!" His voice came out as a wheeze. Anyone!" The building groaned, settling, more ceiling sections falling. Huey clawed at the beam trapping him, but it was steel and concrete and weighed more than a car. His vision swam. Smoke inhalation, shock, pain. He fumbled for his phone, but it was gone, lost somewhere in the rubble. He was going to die here, alone, trapped. Like Robin, in a way. A soup-related death that Vought would cover up and spin and profit from. Above the burning warehouse, Homelander floated, arms crossed, smile spreading. Inside the intact section of the building, Black Noir moved through smoke like a shadow, silent, deadly, enhanced senses tracking heat signatures, locating Butcher and the others, herding them toward the exits. Not killing them, not yet. They needed to be witnesses. 3 blocks away, in an armored van, Madeline Stillwell watched monitors showing every angle. Ghost Rider's location? Inbound. ETA 3 minutes. Good. The moment he enters that building, detonate the secondary charges. Bury him in the rubble. "Ma'am, Huey Campbell is still inside, the British Assets associate." Stillwell's expression didn't flicker. "Acceptable loss. Homelander, status?" Through the comms, Homelander's VODs. "Weiss. Waiting. This is going to be fun." Johnny felt it from 5 blocks away. Terror. Innocent terror. Huey's specifically, a flavor he recognized from the tower, from watching the kid help the old woman in Times Square. The fishhooks in his chest yanked hard enough to bruise. His skull ignited mid-ride, flames pouring off him, and pedestrians dove out of the way as the hell cycle accelerated to speeds that should have torn apart the asphalt. He saw the smoke rising, saw the building collapsing, heard Huey screaming somewhere inside the inferno, saw the trap, felt it, knew it with absolute certainty, didn't care. The motorcycle crashed through a police barricade, Vought security already establishing perimeter, and launched through the warehouse's main entrance. Johnny transformed mid-air, skull blazing, chains extending. He hit the ground inside the burning structure, and immediately the floor beneath him exploded. Secondary charges, exactly where Maeve had warned they'd be. The blast threw him down into the basement. Tons of building followed, burying him in burning rubble. Above, Stillwell watched her monitor, waited for Ghost Rider to stop moving. His hand punched through the debris, then his skull, then his whole body, rising from the wreckage like a demon from hell itself. Flames poured off him, clearing rubble, revealing Huey pinned 20 feet away. "Help!" Huey coughed blood. "Can't breathe." Johnny crossed the distance in 3 strides, grabbed the beam pinning Huey, and lifted it one-handed, threw it aside like cardboard, knelt down, surprisingly gentle, checking the kid's injuries. "You're okay. I've got you." That's when Black Noir dropped from the ceiling. The silent assassin's knife, aimed for Ghost Rider's skull, enhanced strength behind it. Johnny caught the wrist mid-strike without looking, twisted, and Noir flipped away before the bone could break. They faced each other in the burning basement, demon and enhanced human, hellfire and cold precision. Above them, the building groaned. Another section collapsing. Johnny looked up, looked at Huey, looked at Noir. Couldn't fight and protect simultaneously. Not here. Not with the entire structure failing. He wrapped Huey in chains, gently, creating a protective cocoon, then expanded his hellfire into a dome, holding up the collapsing ceiling through sheer supernatural will. His skull blazed white-hot with the effort. Black Noir saw the opening. Attacked. The knife strikes came fast, professional, targeting joints and connections. Ghost Rider couldn't dodge without dropping the ceiling, couldn't fully defend without releasing Huey. Noir exploited this ruthlessly, Blade finding gaps in the supernatural armor. Cuts appeared on Johnny's arms, his torso. They sealed with hellfire almost instantly, but the damage was done. Noir was fast, trained, and Ghost Rider was pinned in place by his own need to protect. Light exploded through the smoke. Starlight crashed through a wall glowing like a sun. She saw Huey wrapped in chains, Ghost Rider holding the building, Noir attacking. "I've got Huey!" She blasted Noir back with a concussive light burst, grabbed the chain-wrapped form, and flew toward the exit. Ghost Rider released the protective dome, let the ceiling fall, and dove after her. Behind them, the basement collapsed completely. They burst out of the building into cool night air. Starlight set Huey down on the pavement. Paramedics rushed forward. Ghost Rider's flames dimmed as he knelt beside the kid. Huey coughed, smiled weakly. "You came." "Always." A shadow fell over them. Homelander landed between Ghost Rider and the ambulance, cape settling, laser eyes already glowing. That psychotic smile stretched across his face. "I'm done waiting." Ghost Rider stood slowly. Flames erupted across his entire body, tower of hellfire and judgment. Behind him, paramedics loaded Huey into an ambulance. Starlight positioned herself protectively, glowing bright. Homelander's smile widened. Finally, no interruptions, no civilians to hide behind. His eyes burned red. "Just you and me, demon." "You're not a hero," Johnny's voice resonated, demonic and human simultaneously. "You're a murderer in a cape, nothing more." "I'm Homelander." The scream was raw ego and fractured psyche. "I'm the strongest, I'm the best, I'm guilty." Homelander blurred forward, fist pulled back. The punch came at supersonic speed, air compressing into a shockwave that shattered windows 3 blocks away. It caught Ghost Rider square in the jaw, snapped his skull back, cracked bone. The skull reformed instantly. Ghost Rider hadn't moved an inch. "That all you got?" Homelander's eye twitched. He flew up, circled, came down with both fists raised. Piledriver blow that cratered the pavement, threw up chunks of asphalt. Ghost Rider stood in the center of the impact zone, flames burning brighter. Laser eyes, full power. The beams carved through the night, hit Ghost Rider's chest, and stopped. The hellfire absorbed them, drank them down. The light show was spectacular but useless. Homelander poured everything into it. Decades of being the most powerful thing alive. All his strength channeled into those beams. Ghost Rider walked forward through them. "No." Homelander's voice cracked. "No, that's not... You can't..." The chains shot out, wrapped around Homelander's throat, his torso, his arms, yanked him out of the sky, slammed him into the ground hard enough to crack pavement. The most powerful soup in the world, face down in rubble, struggling like a fish on a hook. Every phone within 6 blocks was recording. Helicopters circled overhead, news crews and Vought security both. The world watched live as Ghost Rider dragged Homelander across broken concrete, pulled him close, skull to face. "You made me look weak!" Homelander screamed. Not threatening now, desperate, terrified. "Everyone saw, they saw you." "You are weak." Johnny's grip tightened. "You're a child with God's power, and you've hurt so many." "I'm a hero. I save people." "You let Flight 37 crash, over 100 people, because you couldn't save them all, and saving some would have made you look bad." Homelander's face went white. "How do you..." "I feel them. Every soul, all you've taken, every innocent you've killed." Ghost Rider's flames blazed white hot. "They've been waiting for this, for you to face what you've done. Please, look into my eyes." The penance, stare, ignited. Homelander's pupils dilated so wide his blue eyes turned black. His mouth opened in a soundless scream, every muscle locked rigid. Blood vessels burst in patterns across his face, red spider-webbing white skin. He saw them all. Flight 37, the passengers. The mother clutching her baby as the plane went down, knowing death was coming, begging him to save them. He'd flown away. let them burn. Felt their terror now, every microsecond of the fall. The woman in the alley, the one who'd said no. He'd made her say yes, felt her violation now, her pain, her shame, her years of therapy and nightmares. The protesters, the ones who'd called him a fascist. He'd lasered through them, claimed it was an accident, felt their skin burning now, their flesh cooking, their final thoughts, disbelief that their hero was killing them. The children. God, the children. Experiments gone wrong. Compound Vi overdoses. Collateral damage from his tantrums. He felt every small death, every parent's grief, every funeral he'd never attended. 11 seconds of concentrated guilt. Every sin, every crime, every moment he'd chosen his image over human life. Decades of murder and rape and violence, delivered in one crushing wave. When Ghost Rider released him, Homelander collapsed like a broken puppet. He was breathing, heart beating, eyes open, but something fundamental had shattered. He stared at nothing, lips moving soundlessly, tears and blood mixed on his face. His hands clawed at his own eyes, trying to unsee what he'd witnessed. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." The crowd was dead silent, phones still recording. The image of Homelander, broken, crying, begging, broadcast to millions. Black Noir moved. He came from the shadows, silent death, moving faster than humans should. Aimed not at Ghost Rider but at the watching crowd. Civilians, witnesses, people who'd seen Homelander destroyed. Ghost Rider's chains intercepted him mid-strike, wrapped him, yanked him sideways. Noir twisted, impossibly flexible, knife finding a gap in the chains. The blade sank into Ghost Rider's ribs. Hellfire erupted from the wound, and Noir held on, driving deeper. Homelander's laser eyes fired. Not at Ghost Rider, at Black Noir. Homelander was still on the ground, broken, but some trained reflex had activated. Protect the brand. Protect Vought. The beams cut through the night. Black Noir took them center mass. The lasers bisected him, cut clean through tactical gear and enhanced flesh. He collapsed in two pieces, blood pooling. Behind his mask, revealed in death, was a face. Homelander's face. The crowd gasped, cameras zoomed in. Clone. Backup. Vought's contingency plan laid bare. They'd made another one. A spare Homelander, trained and loyal, kept in reserve. Homelander saw his own dead face and screamed. Not rage. Horror. Soul-deep horror. "They made a spare." His voice broke. "I'm replaceable. I'm... He curled into fetal position on the pavement. The strongest man in the world, reduced to a sobbing child. Cameras captured every second. In Vought Tower, Madeline Stillwell's hands shook as she poured vodka. The monitors showed Homelander broken, Noir dead, Ghost Rider standing victorious. Stock prices plummeted in real time. Her phone exploded with calls, board members, shareholders, government contacts, all screaming the same question: what the fuck just happened? She drained her glass, picked up her phone, called the one person who might still fix this. "Stan, it's Madeline. We have a problem." Across the street from Vought Tower, in an unmarked office, Stan Edgar watched the same footage. His expression never changed. He ended Stillwell's call without answering, turned to Dr. Vogelbaum. "How long until Project Vengeance is ready?" Vogelbaum reviewed his tablet. 3 weeks, maybe 2 if we increase test subject mortality rate. "You have 1 week. Use as many subjects as necessary." "Sir, the synthetic penance stare requires 1 week. Stan Edgar's smile was colder than anything Ghost Rider had ever conjured. "Let's see how this demon handles a weapon designed specifically to kill him." The threat was over. The building had stopped collapsing. Huey was in the ambulance, stable. Black Noir was dead. Homelander was broken. Ghost Rider collapsed. Not dramatically, just stopped being able to stand. The flames dimmed to embers. His skull flickered, human features showing through. Johnny's face, exhausted and pale. He dropped to one knee on the pavement, chains retracting, breathing hard even though he didn't technically need to breathe. The penance. Stair took something from him every time. Showing someone their sins meant experiencing them himself. Homelander's guilt, decades of murder and rape and casual cruelty, now lived in Johnny's head alongside all the others. Hundreds of victims, thousands of moments of suffering. It was too much, even for a demon. Starlight was beside him instantly. Hey, stay with me. I'm fine. Johnny's voice came out human, rough, just tired. Vought security teams were mobilizing, armored vehicles rolling up, tactical squads deploying, 50 soldiers, maybe more, forming a perimeter, weapons raised, commanders shouting orders. All units converge, target is vulnerable, authorization to terminate. Starlight stood over Johnny's collapsed form, her whole body ignited with light, brighter than she'd ever shown before, bright enough to hurt, bright enough that soldiers raised hands to shield their eyes. I fucking dare you. The lead commander hesitated. His rifle was aimed at her, at Ghost Rider behind her. Orders clear. But this was Starlight, Vaught's golden girl, member of the Seven, and she was standing between them and their target, glowing like an avenging angel. Ma'am, step aside. We have authorization. From who? Homelander? She gestured at two. His sobbing wreck still curled on the pavement. He's broken. Or Stillwell. She sent you to kill a man who just saved civilians, her voice carried, projecting to the cameras still filming. This man pulled children from a collapsing building while your hero watched, and you want to execute him. The soldiers looked at each other. Some lowered their weapons fractionally. MM's voice cut through the tension. Anybody moves, this whole block goes up. The boys had arrived. Frenchie, and Butcher, armed with enough firepower to start a small war. Butcher held what looked like a homemade explosive, timer already running. His grin was manic. Got about 30 seconds before this goes off. Might want to reconsider your tactical position. The commander's radio crackled. Stillwell's voice, tinny but audible. Stand down. Repeat, stand down. Fall back to tower. Ma'am, we have a clear shot. Did I fucking stutter? Pull back, now! The soldiers retreated, slowly, weapons still raised but retreating. Within 2 minutes, the Vought presence had withdrawn completely, leaving just the news helicopters, the civilian phones, and the broken pieces of America's greatest hero scattered across Queen's pavement. Maeve landed beside Starlight, ripped off her 7 badge, threw it at the nearest camera. I'm done. I'm done pretending Homelander's a hero. I'm done with Vought. She looked at Ghost Rider, still kneeling, still struggling. You showed me it's possible to fight back. So fuck it. I quit. 2 members of the Seven standing together, protecting a demon from their own company. The media went insane. Every network cut to the footage. Ghost Rider's penance, stare on Homelander played on loop. The reveal of Black Noir's clone face, Starlight's declaration, Maeve's resignation, hashtag Homelander, broken trending worldwide within minutes. Religious leaders scrambled. Some called Ghost Rider a demon, proof of Satan's influence. Others called him an angel, divine punishment for modern sin. The Vatican released a statement, no comment pending theological review. Stock prices. Vaught's collapsed 23% in after-hours trading. Emergency board meeting called. Shareholders demanding answers. The entire corporate structure shaking. Public opinion swung hard. Footage of Ghost Rider saving children contrasted with Homelander's breakdown. Unedited video showing Homelander nearly killing civilians during the charity gala. The Deep's earlier humiliation resurfacing. A-Train's catatonic state now looking less like an attack and more like justice. Thank you. Ghost Rider overwhelmed the opposition. Petition to pardon him hit 2 million signatures in an hour. Butcher helped Johnny to his feet. Can you ride? Yeah. Johnny's skull was mostly hidden now, human features dominant. Need to get out of here. MM's got a van. Safer than the bike right now. They moved quickly. Starlight helped support Johnny while Frenchie covered their retreat. Maeve created a distraction, drawing cameras toward her as she gave an impromptu press conference. I've watched Homelander kill people. Cover it up. Laugh about it. And I said nothing because I was scared. Her voice broke. Ghost Rider did in one night what I couldn't do in years. He made that monster face consequences. The van was unmarked, engine running. They loaded Johnny into the back, Starlight climbing in beside him. Huey was already there, bandaged but conscious. You came for me. Huey's voice was small. You knew it was a trap and came anyway. Johnny leaned back against the van wall, eyes closing. Couldn't let you die. You're innocent. He's also bait. Butcher climbed into the driver's seat. Vaught's gonna keep coming. They can't let you walk around breaking their soups. Let them come. Oh, they will. But not tonight. Butcher pulled into traffic. Tonight you rest. Tomorrow we plan. Behind them, Homelander was still on the pavement, paramedics trying to move him. He wasn't responding, just staring at nothing, lips moving in constant apology, tears streaming. The man who'd been the strongest soup in the world, reduced to a broken shell by 11 seconds of truth. In Vought Tower, Stan Edgar reviewed damage reports, financial, reputational, political. The numbers were catastrophic. Other board members would panic, try to salvage what they could, cut losses. Stan Edgar saw opportunity. Dr. Vogelbaum, I want daily progress reports on Project Vengeance and start recruiting test subjects from our failed soup programs, the ones with nothing to lose. Yes, sir. Should I inform Ms. Stillwell? No. Madeline's services are no longer required. She'll be terminated in the morning. Stan Edgar smiled. Along with several other liabilities, it's time to restructure, build something better. He pulled up footage of Ghost Rider, studied the flames, the chains, the power. If we can't control you, demon, we'll build something that can kill you, and then we'll build 100 more. 3 days after Homelander broke, Vought called for negotiations. Not Stillwell. She'd been terminated, escorted from the building by security, scapegoated for the entire disaster. The new face across the conference table was Stan Edgar himself, CEO, the man who actually ran Vought. Calm, professional, showing no emotion as he reviewed the carnage Ghost Rider had caused his empire. Beside him sat federal mediators looking distinctly uncomfortable. Across the table, Johnny Blaze, human form, tired but unbroken. Butcher, grinning like a shark. A lawyer Huey knew from his old job, surprisingly competent. And recording everything, just in case Vought tried anything. Mr. Blaze, Stan Edgar's voice was smooth, measured. The past week has been tumultuous for everyone involved. You tried to kill me multiple times. Business decisions, poor ones in retrospect. Edgar smiled thinly. But we're here to discuss the future, not the past. Butcher leaned back in his chair. Here's the future, mate. You leave him alone or we release more files. Got enough dirt on Vought to bury you lot 3 times over. Edgar didn't even look at him, kept his eyes on Johnny. We can't arrest you. Public opinion has shifted dramatically, 73% approval rating as of this morning. We can't kill you, obviously. We need to establish a framework that allows you to operate while maintaining some semblance of order. You mean control? I mean coordination. Edgar pulled up a document on his tablet. Licensed independent contractor status. You respond to genuine emergencies. We provide intelligence on legitimate threats. You maintain autonomy in your judgments. Johnny read through the terms. No tracking devices, no Vought oversight on who he targeted, no requirement to attend PR events or media training. Emergency response only, no proactive hunting officially, access to resources and intel, clean legal identity. It was better than he'd expected, which made him suspicious. What's the catch? No catch, just reality. Edgar leaned forward. Mr. Blaze, you've destabilized the entire superhero industry. Homelander is catatonic, possibly permanently. A-Train likewise. The Seven is in shambles. Our stock has lost billions, and the public is now questioning whether soups should exist at all. Good. Perhaps. But nature abhors a vacuum. If Vought collapses completely, something else will fill that space. Something potentially worse. Edgar's expression never changed. Better the devil you know, as they say. We can coexist. You punish the guilty. We manage the rest. Everyone wins. The lawyer reviewed the contract, nodded to Johnny. It's legitimate. Surprisingly fair, actually. Butcher snorted. He's planning something. Corporate cunts always are. Of course I'm planning something. Edgar smiled. I'm planning to survive, to adapt, to build something better from the ruins you've created. But that doesn't require your death, Mr. Blaze. Just your neutrality toward Vought operations that don't involve innocent victims. Johnny signed, knew it was temporary, knew Edgar was playing a long game, but right now, it bought time, bought freedom to operate, bought protection for the boys and the people helping him. One more thing, Johnny said. Starlight and Maeve, full immunity, no retaliation. Already done. In fact, we'd like them back, if they want. Starlight had been listening from the observation room, Huey beside her. She spoke into the intercom. I'm not coming back. Edgar nodded like he'd expected that. Understandable. The offer remains open. Ms. Maeve? Maeve's voice came through, flat. I'll come back. Someone needs to watch you from inside. Excellent. Welcome back to the Seven, Ms. Maeve. She didn't sound happy about it, but Johnny understood. She'd be their spy, their insurance, eyes inside Vought reporting to the boys. The federal mediators drafted the final agreement. Johnny Blaze, dimensional refugee, granted asylum status, recognized as independent superhuman operator, limited immunity for actions taken in defense of innocence, required to coordinate with federal authorities on major threats. It was bullshit mostly, legal theater, but it gave him legitimacy, made him harder to assassinate without public outcry. The boys? Butcher asked. Limited immunity agreement, consulting capacity for federal soup oversight. Edgar's smile was thin. We know you'll keep hunting. We know we can't stop you. This way, everyone saves face. Papers signed, handshakes exchanged. The facade of civilization maintained. As they left the conference room, Butcher pulled Johnny aside. He's building something to kill you. You know that, yeah? I know. And you signed anyway? Bought us time. Bought protection for innocence. That's all I need. In Vaught's sub-level labs, Dr. Vogelbaum watched another test subject convulse in restraints, experimental compound V variant designed to Crohn's. 8 synthetic penance stare capabilities. The subject was screaming, eyes bleeding. Failure, again. Vogelbaum marked his tablet. Prepare subject 17. Stan Edgar watched from the observation window. How many have we lost? 14 viable candidates. 3 survived, but with severe psychosis. This process is imprecise. Keep trying. We need this operational within a month. Sir, forcing supernatural abilities through scientific means may be fundamentally... Doctor, Edgar's voice cut like a scalpel. Ghost Rider exists. Therefore his power can be replicated. Find a way, or I'll find someone who can. Vogelbaum swallowed, nodded, prepared the next subject. The world adjusted to its new reality. Homelander remained in medical isolation at Vought Tower, catatonic, sometimes screaming, sometimes weeping. The penance stare had shown him every victim, and his mind couldn't process it. Psychiatrists called it a complete psychotic break. Vought called it extended medical leave. The Deep had disappeared entirely. Rumor was he'd fled to some remote island, terrified Ghost Rider would find him next. The Seven reorganized, Maeve back as reluctant member. Starlight's replacement rushed, a young woman named Stormfront, all blonde hair and media-friendly smile. Deep's temporary replacement was someone called Supersonic. Black Noir's spot remained empty, his clone nature now public knowledge. The organization was weaker, fractured, no longer the unstoppable force they'd pretended to be. The boys operated more openly now, still vigilante justice, still hunting supes who hurt people, but with semi-official status. Butcher loved it, all the violence, half the consequences. Johnny found an apartment in Hell's Kitchen, small, anonymous. The dimensional rift remained closed. He'd checked every night, riding to where he'd arrived, feeling for any hint of a gateway home. Nothing. He was stuck here, in a world where heroes were corporate assets and villains wore capes, where innocents suffered while cameras rolled and shareholders profited. But he'd accepted it. This was his purpose now, his penance, his mission. The guilty would face justice, whether they wore Vought logos or not. On a Tuesday night, 2 weeks after Homelander's fall, Johnny sat on his usual rooftop. Huey joined him, limping slightly, shoulder still healing. "How you doing, kid?" "Better. Thanks to you." Huey sat carefully. "Robin would have liked you, I think. She always wanted to be a hero. Real hero, not the Vought kind. She was innocent. Didn't deserve what happened. No one you've punished did. Deserve it, I mean." Huey looked at the city. "Does it get easier? Carrying all that guilt? All those victims?" Johnny was quiet for a long moment. "No, it gets heavier. Every soul I judge adds weight." He looked at his hands. "But it's necessary. Someone has to make them face it." "Why you?" "Because I already made a deal with the demon. Already damned myself. Can't get worse than that." Johnny's smile was bitter. "Might as well do something useful with it." Butcher's van pulled up below. Horn honked. "That's our ride?" Huey stood. "Another soup situation. Bad one." Johnny's skull flickered beneath his skin, sensing it. Innocent blood being spilled. The fishhooks pulling him toward suffering. The Queensboro Bridge was collapsing at 11:47 p.m. on a Friday, and Vought had ordered Ghost Rider to stand down. It wasn't an accident. Nothing in this world was ever really an accident. A gas main explosion had taken out 3 support cables. Structural engineers were screaming on emergency channels that the entire span was failing. 400 cars trapped on the bridge, maybe 800 people, families, kids in car seats, commuters just trying to get home. And Vought had given explicit orders. Structural integrity assessment required before superhuman intervention. Stand by for authorization. Translation: let it fall. Let Ghost Rider watch people die. Break him emotionally before Project Vengeance was ready to break him physically. Johnny received the order through the official channels, his new coordination agreement with federal authorities, routed through Vaught's crisis management. Butcher's voice crackled over their private comm. "It's a setup, mate. They caused this. Want you to watch it happen or disobey and give them legal grounds." Johnny was already moving. Hell cycle roaring through Manhattan traffic, civilians diving out of the way. He could feel it, 800 innocent people, terror spiking as the bridge groaned and swayed, children screaming, parents praying, the fishhooks in his chest pulling so hard he could barely breathe. "I don't care about their orders. If you intervene, they'll call it illegal superhuman activity. Void the whole agreement. Then they can void it." Starlight's voice cut in. She'd been patrolling nearby. "I'm inbound. 2 minutes. Won't be enough time." Johnny accelerated, weaving between stopped cars. "Bridge is going down in 60 seconds. He hit the approach at 90 miles per hour, launched off the ramp, and the Hell cycle became airborne. For 3 seconds he flew, motorcycle and rider silhouetted against the city lights, then crashed onto the bridge deck hard enough to crack pavement. The bridge was screaming, metal fatigue, cable snaps sounding like gunshots, concrete crumbling, the center span sagging, tilting, cars sliding toward the gap, people inside pounding on windows, trying to escape. Johnny transformed mid-stride. Full Ghost Rider, skull blazing, chains extending in every direction. He could feel the weight of it. Thousands of tons of steel and concrete, all failing simultaneously. One man, even a supernatural one, couldn't hold this. But he had to try. The chains shot out, wrapped support cables, bridge deck, anything structural. Johnny planted his feet, pulled, and the bridge stopped falling. For a moment, his entire body ignited, flames pouring 40 feet high and the temperature around him spiked. Asphalt melted beneath his boots. "Go!" his voice boomed across the bridge. "Get off! Now!" Drivers understood. Abandoned cars, grabbed chais, children ran. The evacuation was chaos, people stumbling, falling, helping each other. An old man collapsed. A teenager went back for him, dragged him toward safety. A mother carried twins, one under each arm, screaming for her husband. The bridge tilted further, Ghost Rider's chains strained. He could feel them starting to give, could feel his human anchor, Johnny's consciousness, being consumed by the spirit of vengeance. To hold this much weight, he needed more power. More than the human-demon hybrid could sustain. He needed to become the spirit fully. No going back from that. The transformation would be complete. Johnny Blaze would be gone, consumed entirely by hellfire and vengeance. Just the weapon, just the punishment. No humanity remaining. He looked at the fleeing families, the children, the innocents. Worth it. "Forgive me," Johnny whispered. To who, he wasn't sure. God, the universe, himself. Then he let go of his human anchor. The transformation was agony and ecstasy simultaneously. His body expanded, skull growing, flames consuming flesh and bone and replacing them with something cosmic. 40 feet tall, 50. The spirit of vengeance unbound, no longer limited by human consciousness. The cosmic Ghost Rider stood on the Queensboro Bridge, a titan of flame and judgment, and the bridge stopped falling. His chains multiplied, hundreds of them, wrapping every support structure. His body became a living bridge itself, feet planted on opposite shores, torso arched over the gap. Every person still on the bridge walked across him, across hellfire that didn't burn them, across a demon's sacrifice. Cameras captured it all. News helicopters circling, phones recording. The image of a 40-foot flaming skeleton holding up the Queensboro Bridge, civilians walking across his body to safety, was already going viral. On the VOT command channel, operators were screaming. "What is he doing? The orders were to stand down, authorize containment." Snipers were already in position. 50 VOT tactical personnel with experimental weapons, blessed ammunition, holy water rounds, everything Dr. Vogelbaum had developed. They'd been waiting for this. For Ghost Rider to be vulnerable, stretched to his limit, unable to defend himself. "All units, you are authorized to engage. Target is locked in place. Fire at will." The first shot hit Ghost Rider's rib cage. Experimental round that should have hurt him. It vaporized in hellfire. Second shot. Third. Volley of blessed ammunition, holy water grenades. Everything useless against the spirit of vengeance at full power. But Ghost Rider couldn't move, couldn't defend himself beyond the passive flames. Every ounce of power was devoted to holding the bridge, protecting the last civilians still evacuating. A mother with a stroller. She'd fallen, twisted her ankle, the baby crying. She couldn't move fast enough. Starlight landed beside her. "I've got you!" Grabbed the woman, the stroller, flew them both to safety. Maeve arrived from the opposite direction, helping an elderly couple who'd been too terrified to run. "Come on, move!" The Deep, surprisingly, showed up on a jet ski beneath the bridge, pulling people from cars that had fallen into the water, saving lives instead of posing. Maybe Ghost Rider's presence was changing even him. The last civilian cleared the bridge, an 11-year-old boy separated from his parents in the chaos, running alone. He stopped in the center, looking at Cosmic Ghost Rider, at the massive flaming figure literally holding the world up, and his eyes went wide. "Thank you," the kid whispered. Ghost Rider heard him, even at cosmic scale. Even with Johnny's consciousness nearly gone, he heard it. The boy ran to safety. Ghost Rider began to shrink. The transformation reversed, 40 feet to 20, 20 to 10, back to normal height. The cosmic power draining, the spirit receding. As Johnny's human consciousness returned, the chains began to fail. He'd held long enough. Everyone was safe. Now the price came due. The bridge collapsed, tons of steel and concrete falling into the East River. Ghost Rider fell with it, chains wrapped around him, too exhausted to fly or phase or do anything but drop. He hit the water hard enough to create a tidal wave, sank. The river's cold and dark surrounded him, and for the first time in years, Johnny Blaze felt something close to peace. Maybe this was it, the end, the final payment for his deal with the demon. Saved 800 people and finally got to rest. Hands grabbed him underwater, multiple hands. Starlight's glow cutting through the murk, Maeve's strength pulling him up, even the deep, using water manipulation to create a current that lifted them to the surface. They broke into air together, gasping. Ghost Rider's flames were out completely. Just Johnny now, waterlogged and barely conscious. "We've got you," Starlight said. "You're okay. Everyone's safe." On the shore, 800 people stood watching. Families, commuters, the people he'd saved. They started clapping. Slowly at first, then building. Applause echoing across the water. And in Vought Tower, Stan Edgar watched the footage of Cosmic Ghost Rider holding the bridge. Watched the public reaction, unanimous support, gratitude, calls for medals and parades. He smiled. "Dr. Vogelbaum, did you see that transformation?" "Yes, sir. Complete spirit manifestation. Unprecedented power level." And he was vulnerable during it. Locked in place, unable to defend himself. Stan Edgar pulled up Project Vengeance files. If we can force him into that state again with our weapon ready, he'd be defenseless. "Yes, sir." "Excellent. Accelerate the project. I want it operational within 2 weeks." They pulled Johnny onto the shore, and he didn't get back up. Not unconscious. Worse, conscious, but broken. The cosmic Ghost Rider transformation had burned through everything. His power, his reserves, the delicate balance between Johnny Blaze and the spirit of vengeance. His human form was intact, but failing, skin pale, almost translucent, veins visible beneath, glowing faintly with dying hellfire, hands shaking uncontrollably. Starlight knelt beside him. "Hey, Johnny, stay with me." Can't transform." His voice came out hoarse, damaged. "Used everything. Nothing left." Huey ran up, medical kit in hand. The boys had been monitoring from their van. "Jesus, he looks like he's dying." "I am dying." Johnny coughed, tasted copper. "Partly. The human part burns away every time, usually regenerates. But that transformation," he closed his eyes, "went too far, burned too much." Checked his pulse, frowned. "Heartbeat's irregular, skin's cold. He needs a hospital." "No hospitals." Butcher appeared, scanning the crowd. 800 witnesses, dozens of cameras, Vought vehicles approaching. They'll kill him the moment he's isolated. As if on cue, Vought helicopters descended. Not rescue birds, tactical units. The same teams that had tried to kill Ghost Rider before, now circling a man who couldn't even stand. Stan Edgar's voice boomed through megaphone speakers. "Johnny Blaze, you violated operational parameters. Intervened against direct orders. The agreement is void. Surrender yourself for detention." The crowd that had been applauding moments ago now murmured, confused. Phones came out again, recording this new development. Butcher helped Johnny sit up. "Can you ride?" "Can barely breathe." Starlight stepped between Johnny and the approaching soldiers, hands glowing. "He just saved 800 people. You want to arrest him for that?" "He violated federal orders, caused millions in structural damage, endangered lives through unauthorized intervention. Edgar's voice was clinical, emotionless. This is not negotiable. 50 soldiers formed a perimeter, weapons raised, not experimental anymore, just standard ammunition. Because Ghost Rider couldn't become Ghost Rider, couldn't transform, couldn't protect himself. Just a dying man on a riverbank, too weak to even run. Maeve landed beside Starlight, creating a two-soup barrier. "You'll have to go through us, if necessary." Edgar's helicopter descended, landing 50 feet away. He stepped out, suit immaculate, expression neutral. "Ms. Starlight, Ms. Maeve, stand down. This doesn't concern you." "The fuck it doesn't." Starlight's glow intensified. "He's saved more people in 3 weeks than the 7 have in 3 years, and you want to kill him because he made you look bad." The crowd was listening. Every word broadcast live. Edgar knew it, adjusted his approach. "Mr. Blaze made heroic efforts tonight. No one disputes that. But he's also demonstrated he's too dangerous to operate without oversight. The cosmic form," Edgar gestured at the footage playing on nearby phones, "represents an uncontrolled power level. He needs medical supervision, containment protocols." "You mean a cage?" Johnny forced himself to speak, though it hurt. "Want to study me, dissect me, figure out how to replicate my power?" Edgar's smile was thin. "You're already dying, Mr. Blaze. We're offering treatment, help, a chance to survive. You're offering a lab table and vivisection." Huey helped support Johnny's weight. "He's not going anywhere with you." "You don't have a choice," Edgar signaled. Soldiers advanced. "Stand aside or be detained as accomplices." The boys raised weapons, outgunned 50-4, but Butcher's grin was feral. "Come on then, you cunts. See what happened." The standoff crystallized. Vought soldiers versus vigilantes and rogue soups. Johnny Blaze dying in the middle, too weak to even summon a spark. 800 civilians watching, cameras rolling, the world witnessing everything. Then the crowd moved. Not away. Toward. The mother with the stroller, the one Starlight had saved, walked through the soldier line and knelt beside Johnny. "You saved my baby, my daughter. She's alive because of you." The 11-year-old boy followed. Then his parents, the elderly couple Maeve had rescued, the teenager who'd gone back for the fallen old man. One by one, the people Ghost Rider had saved formed a human barrier around him. "You want him?" The mother's voice shook but held firm. "You go through us." A soldier raised his rifle, uncertain. "Ma'am, step away from the suspect." "Suspect? He's a hero, more than any of your people." She looked at Edgar. "You're the ones who caused this. I saw the explosion, saw the bridge cables cut. This was deliberate." Murmurs through the crowd, phones adjusting angles, reporters sensing a bigger story. Edgar's expression never changed, but his jaw tightened fractionally. "Conspiracy theories help no one. Stand aside." "No." 800 people, forming a wall of bodies, protecting the demon who'd protected them. It was the image that would define everything that came after. Ghost Rider, powerless, human, vulnerable, surrounded by the innocents he'd saved. Civilians standing between him and corporate execution, the mother holding her baby, the child who'd said thank you, all of them refusing to move. Butcher laughed, amazed. "Would you look at that? Actual fucking heroism." Edgar assessed the situation. Cameras everywhere. Public sentiment clear. Moving against Johnny now meant moving against civilians. Massacre on live television. Unacceptable optics. "Stand down," he ordered quietly. To the soldiers, not the civilians. The weapons lowered, slightly. The perimeter remained. "This isn't over, Mr. Blaze. You've made powerful enemies." Johnny looked up at him, eyes barely focusing. "I've fought demons. You're just a businessman." "Perhaps, but demons are honest about what they are." Edgar turned back to his helicopter. "I'll be seeing you soon." The helicopter lifted off. The soldiers retreated to their vehicles. Within minutes, the Vought presence had withdrawn, leaving just the boys, the soups, and 800 witnesses to an impossible night. Johnny collapsed fully. The crowd caught him, lowered him gently. The mother pressed her hand to his forehead. "You're burning up. Always do." Johnny's smile was weak. "Hellfire. Can't turn it off completely. We need to get him somewhere safe." Starlight looked at Butcher. "Your place?" "Too obvious. They'll track us there." Butcher pulled out his phone, made a call. "Oi, Mallory. Yeah, it's me. Need a safe house. Big one. No, bigger. Got a demon and 800 witnesses to protect. Long story." The crowd helped carry Johnny to the boys' van. Gentle hands, grateful faces. The teenager who'd saved the old man offered his jacket as a pillow. The mother tucked her baby blanket around Johnny's shaking form. As they loaded him in, the 11-year-old boy grabbed Johnny's hand. "Are you going to die?" Johnny looked at him. At the innocence, the hope, everything worth protecting. "Not today, kid. Made a deal with a demon once. Can't get out of it that easy." The boy smiled. "Let go." The van pulled away, civilians waving, cameras still rolling. The footage would play on every network for days. Ghost Rider, powerless and human, saved by the very people he'd sacrificed himself to protect. In Vought Tower, Dr. Vogelbaum watched the same footage and smiled. He's vulnerable now, completely human, no transformation capacity. He pulled up Project Vengeance data. If we deploy within 48 hours, before he regenerates, Stan Edgar nodded slowly. "Prepare the asset. I want it ready for field deployment tomorrow night." "Sir, we haven't finished testing. The psychological conditioning isn't tomorrow night." Edgar's voice was ice. "Ghost Rider is mortal right now. We may not get another chance." The safe house was an abandoned church in the Bronx, secured by Mallory's old CIA contacts. Fitting, Johnny thought through his fever. A demon recovering in a house of God. The universe had a sense of humor. He'd been there for 36 hours, couldn't transform, couldn't even summon a spark. The hellfire inside him was rebuilding, regenerating, but slowly, too slowly. His human body was failing faster than the spirit could repair it. Starlight sat beside his makeshift bed, pews pushed together, covered in blankets. "How you feeling?" "Like I'm dying, because I am." Johnny coughed, tasted blood. "The spirit keeps me alive. Without it fully present, the human part just falls apart." "How long until you can transform again?" "Days, maybe a week." He closed his eyes. "Went too far on that bridge. Used power I shouldn't have accessed." Outside, the boys maintained watch. Butcher on the roof with a rifle, monitoring cameras, Frenchie rigging the perimeter with explosives, Huey coordinating with the 800 witnesses who'd offered to help. A civilian early warning network spread across the city. Maeve had returned to Vought Tower, playing her role as compliant soup, but she'd left a burner phone with instructions. "They're moving tonight. Something called Project Vengeance. I couldn't find details. Be ready." The attack came at 3:47 a.m. No warning, no dramatic entrance, just the church's east wall exploding inward and something stepping through the smoke and rubble. It looked like Ghost Rider, almost. Flaming skull, chains, leather. But wrong. The flames burned orange instead of blue-white. The skull was too perfect, symmetrical, artificial. The chains clinked instead of rattled. And the eyes, where Johnny's burned with judgment and pain, these burned with nothing. Empty. Corporate. Project Vengeance. Vaught's synthetic Ghost Rider. Johnny tried to stand, collapse. It's still too weak. Starlight moved between him and the thing, glowing bright. "What the fuck is that?" The synthetic Ghost Rider spoke. The voice was computer-generated, modulated to sound demonic. "Johnny Blaze, You are in violation of VOT International Operational Parameters. Termination authorized. They made a fake one. Johnny laughed bitterly. Of course they did. Butcher burst through the door, rifle raised, fired 3 rounds into the synthetic's chest. The bullets passed through harmlessly, the body reforming around them like liquid. Oh, that's not good. The synthetic Ghost Rider raised its hand. Chains shot out, not supernaturally extending, but mechanical, launcher-based. They wrapped Butcher, yanked him off his feet, slammed him into a pew. He groaned, didn't get up. Came through the opposite entrance, opened fire. Same result. The thing was built to replicate Ghost Rider's invulnerability without his weaknesses. Starlight blasted it with concentrated light. The synthetic staggered, flames flickering. It felt that. Adaptation in real time, its programming analyzing the attack, calculating response. It raised both hands. Flame burst from its palms, not hellfire, but thermite, chemical fire designed to look supernatural for cameras. The heat was intense, real, burning the church's interior. Frenchie triggered the perimeter explosives. The church shook, sections of wall collapsing. The synthetic Ghost Rider stood in the center of the blast, unaffected, flames burning brighter. Merde, it's unstoppable. It's... Johnny forced himself to his knees, tried to summon the spirit. Nothing came. Just pain, exhaustion, the hollow feeling where his power should be. The synthetic turned toward him, advanced slowly, chains rattling their mechanical rattle. Primary target acquired, initiating termination protocol. Huey appeared with a fire extinguisher, civilian ingenuity against corporate superscience. Sprayed the synthetic's flames. They died down for a moment, then reignited. But it had bought seconds. Johnny, run! Can't run. Can barely stand. Johnny met the synthetic's empty eyes, saw the difference. This thing had no soul, no guilt, no humanity, just programming and profit motive. It's not alive, just a weapon. So are you, the synthetic replied. Its hand closed around Johnny's throat, lifted him off the ground. Difference. I serve VOT. You serve chaos. The grip tightened. Johnny couldn't breathe, couldn't transform, couldn't do anything but hang there, dying, while a corporate mockery of everything he was squeezed the life out of him. Starlight hit the synthetic from behind, full power blast. It dropped Johnny, turned on her, backhanded her across the church. She crashed through a stained glass window, disappeared into the night. and Frenchie attacked together, coordinated. Explosives and gunfire. The synthetic tanked it all, then grabbed by the throat. Its free hand formed a fist, mechanical precision, no wasted movement, and drove into MM's ribs. Something cracked. He screamed. Butcher struggled to his feet, bleeding from the head. Oi, Tin Man! The synthetic dropped focused on Butcher. That empty gaze, calculating threat assessment. Butcher was just human, not worth priority attention. It turned back to Johnny. That's when the real Ghost Rider ignited. Not fully, not the transformation, just Johnny's eyes burning with hellfire, the last spark of the spear, it refusing to die. His hand shot out, grabbed the synthetic's wrist. You're not me. Irrelevant. I am superior, controlled, focused. No. Johnny's grip tightened, hellfire spreading from his hand to the synthetic's arm. You're empty. You've never felt guilt, never known sin, never judged a soul. The synthetic tried to pull away. Couldn't. Johnny's hellfire, real hellfire, not thermite tricks, was burning into it. Not the exterior flames, but the machinery underneath, the circuits, the programming. You can't hurt the guilty because you don't understand guilt. Johnny pulled the synthetic close, eye to eye, used the last of his power. Not a full penance stare, he didn't have enough for that, but an echo of one, showing the synthetic what it was, what it lacked. Empty code, no soul, no purpose beyond violence, a weapon without judgment, a mockery of justice. The synthetic Ghost Rider screamed, mechanical, artificial, but a scream nonetheless. Its programming couldn't handle the paradox. It was designed to replicate Ghost Rider, but Ghost Rider's power came from something it could never possess, a damned soul seeking redemption. The flames flickered, died. The synthetic collapsed, machinery sparking, orange fire extinguishing. Johnny released it, fell backward, completely spent. Not even embers left now. The church was ruins. The boys were battered, possibly dying. Starlight was somewhere outside, unconscious or worse, and Johnny had used the last spark of his power defeating a machine. He laughed weakly. Worth it. Butcher crawled over, bleeding. You daft bastard. You had nothing left and you burned it anyway. Had to. Couldn't let them win. Johnny's vision was going dark. Couldn't let them make me into that. Outside, Vought vehicles were approaching. Helicopters, troops. They'd heard the explosion, seen the church burning, coming to finish the job while Ghost Rider was mortal. Huey held Johnny's head. Stay with us. Please. Did my best, kid. Johnny's eyes were closing. Human. Mortal. Dying for real this time. Protected the innocent. Punished the guilty. That's all I could do. The church doors burst open. But it wasn't Vought soldiers. It was 800 civilians. The people from the bridge. The mother with her stroller. The 11-year-old boy. The elderly couple. All of them, armed with phone cameras and righteous fury, forming a human wall between Ghost Rider and whatever came next. Leave him alone, the mother's voice carried. He saved us. You want him. You go through all of us. Behind them, news vans, reporters, every major network. This wasn't a quiet assassination anymore. This was public, witnessed, recorded. Stan Edgar's helicopter descended. He stepped out, assessed the situation, and his expression finally showed emotion. Frustration. Too many witnesses. Too much coverage. The synthetic had failed. Ghost Rider was dying, but martyrdom would make him more dangerous than survival. Edgar made a call, spoke quietly, then addressed the crowd through a megaphone. Stand down. All units fall back. Medical teams provide assistance to the wounded. Butcher's eyes narrowed. What's your game? Damage control, Mr. Butcher. Edgar loose. Ked at Johnny's collapsed form. He wins. For now. The negotiation happened 3 days later, in a federal building with actual government oversight this time, not Vought's private conference rooms. Johnny sat across from Stan Edgar again, but everything was different. The synthetic Ghost Rider's defeat had been broadcast worldwide. The 800 civilians forming a human shield had become the image of the decade. Public opinion had swung so hard against Vought that their stock had dropped another 30%. Shareholders were demanding Edgar's resignation. Congressional hearings were scheduled. The entire empire was teetering. Edgar no longer held all the cards. Beside Johnny, Butcher, still bandaged from broken ribs, MM with his arm in a sling, Huey coordinating via laptop with the civilian network. Starlight, recovered but bruised. And surprisingly, Grace Mallory, former CIA, current Federal Suppay Oversight Director, the one person in government Vought couldn't buy. Let's be clear about the situation, Mallory said, her voice carrying decades of authority. You created an unauthorized superhuman weapon, deployed it against a civilian, caused extensive property damage, and it was all recorded. Edgar's smile was thin. Project Vengeance was a defensive measure against an uncontrolled. Save it. Mallory slid a folder across the table. We have testimony from Dr. Vogelbaum. He's cooperating. Everything about Project Vengeance, the test subjects who died, the illegal experimentation, the assassination order, all of it. Edgar's expression didn't change, but his jaw tightened. You're facing federal charges, Mr. Edgar. Vought International is facing dissolution unless... She pulled out another document. We reach an agreement that ensures this never happens again. What kind of agreement? Full immunity for Johnny Blaze and Associates. Guaranteed autonomy for his operations. No tracking, no oversight, no interference. Mallory leaned forward. In exchange, he coordinates on legitimate threats and doesn't actively hunt Vought personnel who haven't committed crimes. That's extortion. That's accountability, Butcher grinned. Something new for you cunts. Edgar reviewed the terms. His empire was crumbling. Public wanted blood. Government wanted scapegoats. The only way forward was compromise. Fine. Blaze gets immunity, full operational autonomy. Edgar looked at Johnny. But I want assurances. No more attacks on Vought property. No more public humiliation of our soups. Then your soups stop hurting innocents. Johnny's voice was still weak, recovering. They stay clean. I leave them alone. They cross the line. They face me. How do we know you'll be fair? You're judge, jury, and executioner. I judge sin, not politics, not PR. If your people are innocent, they have nothing to fear from me. Johnny met Edgar's eyes. Can you say the same about them? Silence. Mallory pushed the document forward. Sign it, Mr. Edgar, or I refer everything to Justice Department prosecutors. Edgar signed. The terms were comprehensive. Ghost Rider recognized as independent operator. Federal protection from Vought retaliation. The boys granted semi-official status 8. Supe oversight consultants. Starlight and Maeve's immunity formalized. Access to Vaught's records on Soup, crimes for investigation purposes. And one more clause, added at Johnny's insistence. Homelander remains in medical custody indefinitely. No rehabilitation, no return to active duty. The monster stays caged. He's not recovering, Edgar said quietly. The penance stare broke something fundamental. He sees his victims constantly, waking nightmares. Our psychiatrists say it's permanent. Good, Starlight said. No sympathy, just cold satisfaction. Edgar stood, buttoning his jacket. This isn't over, Mr. Blaze. You've won this round. But Vought will adapt, survive. We always do. I know. And I'll be here when you cross the line again. Edgar left without another word. Mallory gathered her documents. Congratulations. You just forced the most powerful corporation in America to acknowledge oversight. She almost smiled. Never thought I'd see it. What about the 7? Huey asked. They're still operational, right? Restructured. Maeve stays as acting leader. Her choice. She's our inside asset. Starlight can return any time. Also her choice. Deep's been permanently removed. Psychiatric leave, officially. Homelander's status we covered. Black Noir's position eliminated. They're recruiting new members, but with actual screening now. Federal observers in place. So they can still operate. They're heroes, sometimes, when it suits them, Mallory shrugged. But now there's someone who makes sure they stay heroes, or face consequences. She looked at Johnny. You've changed the game. Soups aren't untouchable anymore. That matters. Over the next week, the new reality settled into place. Homelander remained in Vaught's medical facility, catatonic, except for the screaming. Visitors reported he'd carved "I'm sorry" into his own arms repeatedly. The strongest Soup in the world, reduced to a guilt-ridden shell. The image of American heroism, destroyed by truth. The Deep had fled to some island monastery, supposedly seeking redemption. Rumor was he cried every time he saw his own reflection. A-Train stayed catatonic. Doctors said he might wake up eventually, but he'd never be the same. The 7 reorganized under Maeve's reluctant leadership. New members, carefully vetted, publicly monitored, aware that Ghost Rider was watching. The era of consequence had begun. Starlight chose independence, partnered with Ghost Rider officially, operating as Daylight, a hero without corporate backing, funded by public donations and merchandise sales. The genuine article, finally free. The boys continued their work, now with legal protection and resources. Still hunting bad Soups, but with federal sanction. Butcher was insufferable about it. Never thought I'd be working for the government, he said over drinks. But if it means bagging Soups legally, I'll take it. Johnny had recovered slowly. The hellfire regenerating, the spirit rebuilding. After a week, he could transform again. Not to cosmic level, but enough Enough to ride, enough to judge, enough to protect. He found an apartment in Hell's Kitchen. Small place, anonymous. The dimensional rift remained closed. He'd checked obsessively at first, but had stopped. This world needed him more than his old one did. On a rooftop, 2 weeks after the bridge, Johnny sat with Huey and Starlight. The city sprawled below, millions of lights, millions of lives, millions of potential sins and innocence. "You think it'll stick?" Huey asked. "The agreement? Vought actually behaving?" "No." Johnny lit a cigarette with a finger flame. "Edgar's already planning something, but now we've got leverage, public support, legal protection. Makes the fight more even." Starlight smiled. "We actually won something. Made them acknowledge limits. For now." Johnny stood, stretched. His chains rattled under his jacket. "They'll test boundaries, push back, try to find loopholes. And when they do, I'll be there." His eyes ignited briefly. Blue hellfire. "Always will be. That's the deal I made. Not with them, with myself. Protect innocence. Punish the guilty. Simple." Butcher's voice crackled over comms. "Oi, got a situation in Brooklyn. Soup called Tech Knight, caught on camera assaulting someone. Want in?" Johnny walked to his motorcycle. "On my way." Starlight flew up beside him. "I'm coming too. Could be dangerous." "Johnny, you held up a bridge while people shot at you. I think I can handle Brooklyn." He smiled. Rare, but genuine. Fair point. The hell cycle roared to life. Starlight's glow brightened. Together they descended from the rooftop into the city's chaos. Behind them, Huey watched them go, then returned to his laptop, monitoring, coordinating. The network of 800 witnesses who'd stood for Ghost Rider, now standing watch across the city. Civilian oversight, public accountability. The world had changed. Not completely, not perfectly, but measurably. Soups could still be heroes, but they could also be held accountable. The distinction mattered. And riding through Brooklyn's midnight streets, flames trailing behind him, Ghost Rider embodied that change. Not a hero, not a villain. Something necessary. Something this world had needed for a long time. Justice. Real justice. Not corporate-approved PR stunts, but actual consequences for the guilty and protection for the innocent. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. 4 weeks after the bridge. Johnny sat on the same rooftop where he'd first met Maeve, watching the sun set over Manhattan. The city was beautiful from up here, almost peaceful. You couldn't see the corruption or violence from this height. Just lights and geometry, millions of people living their lives, most of them trying to be decent. His hellfire had fully regenerated. The spirit was whole again, coiled inside him, waiting. He could transform anytime, could become the judge, the weapon, the punishment. But right now, he was just Johnny, smoking a cigarette, watching the world turn. He'd been in this dimension for almost 2 months. 2 months of fighting corporate soups, protecting innocents, making monsters face their crimes. 2 months of being Ghost Rider in a world that needed him more than his own ever had. "Knew I'd find you up here." Butcher climbed through the roof access, carrying 2 beers, handed one to Johnny, sat down beside him. They drank in comfortable silence for a moment, watching the sunset paint the buildings orange and gold. "You did it, you know," Butcher said eventually. "Changed everything. Homelander's broken, the Seven's on a leash, Vought's actually scared of consequences. First time in decades. Temporary. Edgar's planning something." "Yeah, he is. We've got Maeve feeding us intel. Project Vengeance wasn't the only thing in development. There's others. Contingencies for contingencies." Butcher took a long drink. "But that's tomorrow's problem. Tonight, we won." Johnny smiled slightly. "You don't strike me as the celebrating type." "I'm not, but I'm the acknowledging when we don't die type." Butcher looked at him. "You could have left, after the bridge. Could have found some quiet corner of the world, waited for that rift to open back up. Nobody would have blamed you. The rift's not opening, I've accepted that. So you're staying, permanently? Johnny considered the question. Thought about his old world, the demons he'd fought, the people he'd lost, the endless cycle of punishment and guilt. Then thought about this world. Corrupt soups and corporate evil, yes, but also Huey's determination and Starlight's hope and 800 people standing between him and Vaught's guns. I made a deal with a demon once, he said quietly, to save someone I loved. The demon lied, she died anyway, but I got stuck with the spirit of vengeance, became this. He gestured at himself. I've spent years wondering if it was worth it, if selling my soul accomplished anything. And in my world I was hunting demons and monsters, clear evil, obvious targets. But here, Johnny looked at the city. Here, the monsters wear capes, hide behind lawyers and PR teams, hurt people and call it heroism. The system protects them, profits from them. That's what we've been trying to tell people for years. I know, but nobody listened until someone made them. Johnny's hands ignited briefly, blue flames dancing across his knuckles. I think that's why the rift brought me here. Not accident. Purpose. This world needed someone who couldn't be bought or threatened or killed. Someone who'd make the guilty face their sins, regardless of how powerful they were. You think there's a plan? Some cosmic reason? I think I sold my soul and became a weapon. Might as well aim at the right targets. Johnny extinguished the flames. I can't save everyone, can't fix everything, but I can make the guilty suffer, make them understand what they've done. That's something. Butcher was quiet for a long moment. You know what the difference is between you and them? What? You know you're a monster. Homelander thought he was a god. The Deep thought he was entitled. They believed their own bullshit. Butcher crushed his empty beer can. You're Hone, just about what you are. A weapon, a punishment. You don't pretend to be a hero. I'm not a hero. No, you're something better. You're necessary. Butcher stood, tossed the can aside. Heroes need approval, need to be loved. You just need the guilty to suffer and the innocent to live. Simpler, cleaner. Johnny smiled. That a compliment? From me? Fucking highest praise you'll ever get. Butcher headed for the roof access. MM's got intel on a soup called Mesmer. Mind reader, been extorting people. Thought you'd want in. I'll be there. Know you will. Butcher paused at the door. For what it's worth, I'm glad that rift brought you here. World's better with you in it, even if you are a flaming skull cunt. He left. Johnny sat alone again, finishing his beer, watching the city transition from day to night. The lights coming on, one by one. Each one a life. A person. Someone trying to survive in a world that chewed people up and called it business. His phone buzzed. Text from Huey. Family in Queens. Soup landlord threatening eviction unless mom pays differently. Need help. Johnny stood, walked to the roof edge. His motorcycle waited in the alley below. He could feel it, the connection between rider and hellcycle stronger than physics. He thought about his old world one more time. The demon he'd fought. The woman he'd loved and lost. The deal that had damned him. Hope you're watching, he said to the sky, to whatever deity or cosmic force had sent him here. Because I'm not wasting this. Not anymore. He jumped. The transformation happened mid-fall. Johnny Blaze became Ghost Rider, skull igniting, chains extending, flames consuming flesh. He hit the motorcycle at terminal velocity, and it absorbed him smoothly, engine roaring to life. The hell cycle tore out of the alley, leaving a trail of hellfire on the asphalt. Ghost Rider had work to do. Above, on the roof tee. Up, Butcher watched him go. Lit a cigarette, smiled. Necessary evil fighting. Unnecessary evil, he muttered. I like that. In Vought Tower, Stan Edgar watched the same rooftop through high-powered binoculars. Watched Ghost Rider depart. made a note on his tablet. Dr. Vogelbaum, how's the neural interface coming? Through the phone. Promising, sir. If we can capture Ghost Rider, keep him sedated, we might be able to extract the spirit itself, weaponize it properly. Excellent. Continue development. I want options. Edgar looked at the city, at the flaming trail disappearing into Queens, at the problem he couldn't eliminate. You've changed the game, Mr. Blaze, but games can be changed again, and I've been playing longer than you. He closed the blinds, returned to his desk, began drafting new contingencies. The war wasn't over, just entering a new phase. The world adjusted to its new reality in fits and starts. Public opinion remained split, though the division had shifted. Polls showed 58% approval for Ghost Rider, up from the initial 50-50. The bridge footage played constantly, the image of him holding up the structure while civilians evacuated becoming iconic. But religious communities remained divided. Some churches embraced him as divine punishment made manifest. Others condemned him as literal demonic influence. The Vatican finally issued a statement after 6 weeks of theological debate. The existence of supernatural entities neither confirms nor denies Catholic doctrine. We encourage prayer and discernment. Basically, we have no idea what he is, so we're staying neutral. Media coverage evolved. CNN ran a week-long special. Ghost Rider, hero, vigilante, or something else. Fox News oscillated between calling him a threat to American values and grudging respect when he stopped actual crimes. MSNBC championed him as proof that unchecked corporate power could be challenged. Social media remained chaotic. Sage. Ghost Rider for president trended ironically, then less ironically. Vought's public face was all smiles and reform. Stan Edgar appeared on late-night shows, business programs, anywhere cameras pointed. We've learned valuable lessons, implemented new oversight protocols, enhanced screening for the 7. Vought is committed to transparency and accountability. The stock had stabilized at 15% below pre-Ghost Rider levels. Acceptable losses. Edgar was already planning the recovery. Behind closed doors, Vaught's labs ran overtime. Project Vengeance had failed, but it had provided data. New projects sprouted: neural inhibitors, dimensional anchors, synthetic judgment protocols. If they couldn't control Ghost Rider, they'd build something that could. The 7 operated under unprecedented scrutiny. Maeve led reluctantly, hating every PR appearance but maintaining cover as Vaught's inside agent. She fed the boys constant intel, Vought meetings, new soup deployments, research projects. Double agent life was exhausting but necessary. New members had been recruited carefully. Supersonic, genuine hero, genuinely good. Stormfront, charismatic, popular, though something about her made Maeve uneasy. The screening process now included federal observers and psychological evaluation. Not perfect, but better. Starlight thrived independently. Her daylight persona had merchandise sales rivaling the 7. She'd started a foundation for soup crime victims, funded entirely by donations, became the face of heroism without corporate backing. Vought hated it, couldn't touch her, too popular, too clean. The boys enjoyed semi-celebrity status in certain circles. Butcher hated the attention but loved the access. Finally got proper equipment instead of improvised gear. Frenchie published a memoir, Hunting Soups with Science and C4. It became a bestseller. Huey gave lectures at colleges about civilian oversight of superhuman activity. Government response crystallized into actual policy. Congress passed the Superhuman Accountability Act. Soups could still operate, but faced real legal consequences for crimes. Federal oversight positions created. Grace Mallory headed the new Department of Superhuman Affairs, reporting directly to the president. International implications rippled outward. Russia announced their own soup program, claiming superiority to Vaught's compromised model. China remained secretive, but satellites detected unusual activity. The EU proposed international soup regulations. The United Nations formed a committee. An arms race, but with people instead of missiles. Religious reactions spawned new denominations. The Church of Vengeance emerged, followers who believed Ghost Rider was an angel sent to punish modern sin. The Riders, as they called themselves, performed community service and advocated for crime victims. Strange theology, but mostly harmless. Counter-movements formed too. Humanity First rallies called for all soups to be registered, controlled, or eliminated. Ghost Rider included. Fear mixed with bigotry wrapped in patriotic language. They had support in certain political circles. The cultural shift was undeniable. Before Ghost Rider, soups were untouchable, gods in capes. After? They were powerful, yes. Dangerous, absolutely. But mortal, fallible, capable of facing consequences. That changed everything. 2 months after the dimensional rift, a Friday night in New York City. Ghost Rider rode through Times Square, the same intersection, where he'd arrived, where A Train had fallen, where everything had started. The massive Vought billboard was still there, but the image had changed, not Homelander anymore. Now it showed the new 7. Maeve, Starlight, though she'd left, new faces trying to fill the void. The billboard flickered as Johnny passed beneath it. Electronics still didn't like him. He'd just finished a case in Harlem, a soup called Shockwave, different one. Vought had dozens with similar names, had been extorting shop owners, protection racket with superhuman muscle. Ghost Rider had found him in a bar, showed him his victim's fear, left him catatonic like the others. The penance stare was becoming Ghost Rider's signature. Vought couldn't replicate it, couldn't defend against it. Just the threat was enough to make some soups stay clean. The city flowed around him as he rode. Pedestrians barely glanced anymore. Ghost Rider was part of the landscape now. The flaming skull on the motorcycle, as New York as subway rats and pizza slices. Some people waved. A kid took a selfie with him in the background. A woman shouted, "Thank you," from a bus stop. He'd become something impossible, a demon who was beloved. His phone buzzed. He checked it at a red light. Yes, Ghost Rider stopped for traffic signals now after Huey had pointed out the irony of breaking traffic laws while enforcing cosmic justice. Text from Butcher. Situation in Brooklyn. Soup assault. Victims scared to report. Need the fear of God or hell. Whatever you've got. Johnny typed back one-handed. On my way. Another text, this one from Starlight. Coffee tomorrow? Want to discuss the Foundation's expansion? Sure. Noon. And one from Maeve. Encrypted. Edgar's meeting with someone called Dr. Singular. Superhuman research. Flagging for investigation. The light turned green. Ghost Rider accelerated, weaving through traffic with supernatural precision. The Hell Cycle responded to his thoughts more than his hands now, true union between rider and machine. Brooklyn was 20 minutes away. He had time to think. About everything that had changed. Homelander broken, the 7 restructured, Vought on its heels, the boys legitimized. Actual accountability for soups. Not perfect. Nothing ever was, but measurably better than when he'd arrived. About what he'd sacrificed. His chance to go home, if the rift ever reopened. His humanity burning away a little more with each transformation. The weight of judging souls, carrying their sins in his head. The isolation of being something neither human nor demon, caught between worlds. About what he'd gained. Purpose. Real purpose. A world that needed him. Allies who stood beside him. Innocents who looked at his flaming skull and felt safe instead of terrified. That mattered. More than he'd expected. He crossed the Brooklyn Bridge. Rebuilt after the Queensboro collapse, reinforced, stronger than before. Engineers had studied the damage Ghost Rider had prevented, redesigned the structure to be more resilient. A positive side effect of near disaster. The address Butcher had sent was a residential neighborhood. Modest homes, working families, the kind of place corporate soups never bothered protecting because there was no profit in it. Ghost Rider found the house. A woman sitting on the steps, crying. Mid-30s, bruises forming on her arms. Her neighbor sat beside her, holding her hand. Johnny parked, let the transformation recede, approached as human, less intimidating for trauma victims. "Ma'am, I'm here to help." She looked up, saw his face, recognized him from the news. You're Ghost Rider?" "Sometimes. Right now I'm just Johnny. What happened?" She told the story haltingly. A soup named Reflex, speedster, low level, had been harassing her for weeks. Tonight, he'd broken in, assaulted her, fled before police arrived. She knew if she reported it officially, Vaught's lawyers would bury her, make her the villain, like they always did. "Where is he now?" "I don't know. He's fast. Could be anywhere." Johnny's eyes ignited briefly. "I'll find him, and he'll face what he's done." He pulled out a card, the boys' contact info. "Call them. They'll help with the legal side, make sure this gets documented properly. I'll handle the justice side." She took the card with shaking hands. "Will you kill him?" "No, but he'll wish I had." Johnny walked back to his motorcycle. The neighbor called after him. "Thank you for everything you do." He nodded, transformed fully. The skull ignited, flames roaring up, and he reached out with his supernatural senses, feeling for guilt, for sin, for the specific flavor of someone who'd just committed assault. There, 6 blocks away, running, thinking he'd gotten away with it. Ghost Rider's chains extended, wrapped around a streetlight, and he yanked himself forward, urban swinging, using the city's infrastructure as leverage. 3 swings and he landed in front of Reflex, who skidded to a stop. "Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, look into my eyes." The penance. Stare lasted 8 seconds. Reflex collapsed, screaming, clawing at his own face. Ghost Rider left him there for the police, already calling it in anonymously. Another guilty soul judged, another innocent protected, another night in New York. He rode on, heading toward the next case, the next crisis, the next opportunity to make the wicked face their sins. The city never slept, and neither did its demons, both the ones in capes and the one on a motorcycle. Behind him, the woman's neighbor filmed his departure on her phone. Posted it with the caption, "Ghost Rider just saved my friend, real hero, hatched thank you." It would trend within an hour. In Vought Tower, Stan Edgar watched the footage, made another note, adjusted his timeline. "Soon," he muttered. "Very soon." But for tonight, Ghost Rider rode free. Flames trailing behind him, chains rattling, judgment promised to all who deserved it. Not a hero in the traditional sense, not a villain despite his appearance. Something necessary, something this world had needed long before he'd arrived. The guilty would burn. They always did. 3 months after the dimensional rift opened and never closed again. Johnny Blaze sat on a rooftop in Hell's Kitchen, his rooftop now, the one above his apartment, watching the sun rise over a city that had become home despite never asking to be. The transformation back to human was complete. No flames, no skull. Just a man in his 40s with burned scars and tired eyes, holding a cup of coffee that had gone cold an hour ago. He hadn't slept. Hadn't needed to. The spirit of vengeance didn't require rest, just targets. Last night had been busy. 4 cases. A soup assaulting his girlfriend. Penance stare, 8 seconds, catatonic. A corporate executive covering up Compound 5 experiments on children. Penance stare. 11 seconds, psychiatric hold. 2 corrupt cops shaking down immigrants. Pen, on stare for both, careers over. All of it documented, all of it recorded, all of it adding to the weight he carried. He could feel them in his head. Every soul he'd judged, hundreds now since arriving in this world, their sins lived in him, their guilt a constant pressure. Sometimes he wondered how much more he could take before the weight crushed what little humanity remained. Then he remembered why he did it. Down on the street, a woman walked her daughter to school, the same woman from the bridge, the one with the stroller. Her baby was 3 months older now, healthy and happy. She saw Ghost Rider footage on her phone, last night's cases already viral, and smiled, whispered to her daughter, "That's the man who saved us." The daughter looked up at the sky. "Where is he?" "Watching over everyone." Johnny's coffee cup ignited briefly in his hand, blue flames licking the ceramic without burning it. He extinguished them, took a sip of the cold coffee, grimaced. His phone buzzed, multiple messages waiting. "Butcher, good work last night. Corporate cunts lawyers already screaming. Public's on our side. Keep it up." "Huey, the victim you saved in Brooklyn wants to thank you. Press conference at noon if you want to attend. No pressure." "Starlight, saw the footage. You're making a difference. Coffee's still on for today, right?" "Maeve, urgent. Edgar's meeting with someone from Russia. Superhuman exchange program. Need immediate surveillance. And one from an unknown number. I know what you are. I know you can't go home. I can help. Dr. Singular." Johnny stared at the last message, deleted it. Whoever Dr. Singular was, they were either Vought bait or something worse. Either way, he wasn't interested in help that came from anonymous texts. The sun climbed higher. The city woke up. 8 million people starting their day, most of them decent, trying to survive in a system designed to exploit them. And above them, in towers made of glass and steel and money, the powerful schemed and profited and occasionally hurt people when it served their interests. That's what this world was, what it had always been. Corporate evil wearing a smile, superhuman violence wrapped in PR, suffering monetized and branded. But now there was pushback. Now there was consequence. Johnny stood, stretched. His chains rattled under his jacket, always there, always ready. He walked to the roof edge, looked down at the city sprawling in every direction. "You know what the difference is?" he said to no one, to everyone, to the demon he'd made a deal with decades ago. "Between my world and this one?" The wind carried his words away, but he continued anyway. "In my world, evil hid. Demons and monsters lurking in shadows, obvious once you found them. Here," he gestured at the Vought Tower visible in the distance, "here evil sits in boardrooms, wears capes, smiles for cameras, calls itself heroism while counting profit from suffering." A helicopter passed overhead. News crew, probably heading to cover some Vought event. They'd learned to give Ghost Rider a wide berth after their equipment kept malfunctioning around him. "I used to think I was cursed. The spirit of vengeance, burning away my humanity, forcing me to judge and punish. H forever. No redemption, no escape. Just an eternity of carrying other people's sins." He pulled out a cigarette, lit it with his finger. The small flame danced, blue and pure. "But maybe it's not a curse. Maybe it's a purpose." Behind him, the roof access door opened. Butcher emerged, looking rough. Probably hadn't slept either. "Talking to yourself now? That's a bad sign, mate." "Just thinking out loud." Butcher joined him at the edge, lit his own cigarette with a lighter, smirked at Johnny's finger flame. "Show off." They smoked in silence for a moment, watching the city wake. "You changed this world," Butcher said eventually. "You know that, yeah? Homelander's broken. The Seven's scared. Vaught's bleeding money. Soups are actually facing consequences. That's all you. That's all of us. You the boys, Starlight, Maeve. I'm just the weapon. You're the strategy." "Bullshit. We've been fighting for years and barely made a dent. You showed up and broke the strongest soup in the world in 2 months." Butcher flicked ash off the roof. "Don't sell yourself short. I'm not selling anything, just stating facts." Johnny turned to face him. "What's the real reason you're here, Butcher? It's 6 in the morning." Butcher's smile faded. "Maeve's intel, the Russian connection. We think Edgar's trying to buy foreign soups, build a coalition, overwhelm you with numbers. Let him try." "Yeah, but what if he succeeds? What if he brings in 20 soups, all coordinated, all attacking at once while you're protecting civilians?" Johnny's eyes ignited, just briefly. "Then 20 soups face the penance stare. I'll judge them all. You can't fight everyone. Watch me." Butcher studied him for a long moment. You really believe that, don't you? That you can take on the whole system by yourself? I don't have to take on the whole system, just the guilty parts. Johnny crushed his cigarette under his boot. And yeah, I believe it. Because I have to. Because if I don't, who will? The question hung in the air between them. We will, Huey's voice said from the doorway. He'd arrived with MM and Frenchie, all of them looking determined. You're not alone in this. None of us are, MM added. That's the whole point. Frenchie grinned. Besides, someone must document your adventures for the history books, no? I am writing Chapter 12, the time Ghost Rider made Homelander cry like baby. Despite everything, Johnny smiled. Chapter 12? How many chapters are there? Is only beginning, mon ami. Your story, she is far from over. The moment broke. The boys started discussing strategy, surveillance on Edgar, coordination with Maeve. Johnny half listened, his attention on the city below, on the millions of lives continuing, unaware of the war being fought above them. His phone buzzed again. Starlight, change of plans, emergency in Queens. Soup called, Drummer Boy is holding hostages. Can you get there? Johnny typed back, 5 minutes. He turned to the boys. Gotta go, hostage situation. Need backup? MM asked. I've got Starlight, we'll handle it. Butcher nodded. Be careful. Edgar's watching, waiting for you to slip up. Let him watch. Johnny walked to the edge, didn't hesitate, just stepped off. The transformation happened mid-fall, Johnny Blaze becoming Ghost Rider, human becoming demon, mortal becoming judgment. He hit the street as a flaming skull on a motorcycle that had appeared from nowhere. The hell cycle roared to life, civilians scattered, smartphones out, recording. Ghost Rider was always news. He tore through the streets, heading toward Queens. Behind him, the boys watched from the rooftop. Think he'll win? Huey asked quietly. He's won every fight so far, MM said. I mean long-term, against Vought, against the whole system. Butcher was quiet for a moment, then, don't matter if he wins or loses, matters that he fights. That's the difference between him and them. They fight for profit. He fights because it's right. In Vought Tower, 70 stories up, Stan Edgar stood at his window watching the flaming trail cut through morning traffic. Dr. Vogelbaum stood beside him, tablet in hand. Project Singularity is ready for field testing, Vogelbaum said. The neural link is stable. We can deploy within 48 hours. Not yet. Let him feel secure. Let him think he's winning. Edgar's smile was cold mathematics. The best time to strike is when your enemy believes they're invincible. And if he defeats Singularity like he defeated Vengeance, then we deploy Extinction. And if that fails, Omega, and if that fails, Edgar turned from the window, we have contingencies for our contingencies. Ghost Rider is powerful, Doctor, but Vought is patient. We've survived government investigations, market crashes, public scandals. We'll survive one demon. Vogelbaum nodded, made notes. Shall I accelerate the timeline? No. Let him have his victories. Let the public love him. Build him up. Edgar's smile widened. The higher they rise, the harder they fall. On the streets of Queens, Ghost Rider arrived at the hostage scene. Drummer Boy, a soup who could create sonic weapons, had barricaded himself in a bank with 12 civilians. Police had the building surrounded but couldn't act without risking lives. Starlight landed beside Ghost Rider. He's demanded a helicopter and money. Classic. How many innocents inside? 12, including 3 children. Ghost Rider's flames blazed brighter. Then he's already lost. He walked toward the bank. Police shouted warnings. Cameras filmed everything. Drummer Boy fired a sonic blast through the window. Ghost Rider walked through it like smoke. The sound that should have shattered bones just dissipated around him. Inside, Drummer Boy backed up, hostages cowering behind him. Stay back! I'll kill them! Ghost Rider kept walking, chains extending, flames eyeing, illuminating the darkness. You're already guilty. Innocents used as shields. That's a sin. I'm a soup. You can't touch me. Vought will. Look into my eyes. The penance stare took 7 seconds. Drummer boy collapsed. The hostages ran, freed. Starlight caught them, guided them to safety. Police flooded in. Outside, the media documented everything. Another soup defeated. Another group of innocents saved. Another chapter in Ghost Rider's ongoing war against the guilty. And riding away from the scene, flames trailing behind him, Johnny felt the weight increase. One more soul judged, one more sin carried, but also one more dozen people who got to go home safely. Worth it. Always worth it. High above, unseen, a Vought drone tracked his movements, recorded his power levels, analyzed his patterns, feeding data back to Edgar's contingency plans. The war continued. Would always continue. Corporate evil versus supernatural justice. A fight without end. But Ghost Rider had accepted that. This was his purpose now, his penance, his mission. In his old world, he'd made a deal with a demon to save someone he loved. The demon lied, she died, but the deal stuck. He'd become the spirit of vengeance. A weapon, a curse, something between human and monster. He'd spent years hating it, trying to escape it, searching for redemption that would never come. Now, riding through New York City at dawn, flames trailing behind him, Johnny Blaze finally understood. There was no redemption, no escape, no end to the punishment. But there was purpose. And maybe that was enough. The city stretched out before him, 8 million lives, countless sins, infinite opportunities for the guilty to hurt the innocent, but also infinite opportunities to stop them, to make them face what they'd done, to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. Ghost Rider rode on, heading toward whatever crisis came next, whatever injustice needed correction, whatever guilty soul needed judgment. Behind him, the sun rose over Manhattan. A new day, new crimes, new victims, new chances to make a difference. The system was corrupt, the powerful were cruel, the heroes were frauds. But Ghost Rider was real, and he was watching, and the guilty would learn what so many had already discovered. In this world, there was finally consequence. In this world, evil had learned to fear. In this world, the guilty would burn. They always did.